All right, everybody, welcome in. I'm WCA3 Chief Meteorologist Kevin Lighty here with you as severe weather taking shape here across parts of Illinois right now. A brand new severe thunderstorm warning. If you are in Champaign, you are surely hearing the rain coming down here. You maybe even have a little bit of hail as well. And there's a brand new severe thunderstorm warning that was just issued here, and it does include Champaign, Thomasboro, Rantoul, over towards Vermilion County, Potomac to Penfield and Royal. You are under this new severe thunderstorm warning. Real intense cell that is developed. Fisher, you're also included in this. Again, this is a thunderstorm that has the potential to produce damaging winds and hail. We've already had a few reports of some nickel and possibly even quarter-size hail with this storm as it came through down here near Seymour. And this is, again, pushing in to especially central and northern portions of Champaign County. You can see the severe thunderstorm warning that is in effect for that area right now. And so we are monitoring this here for you, keeping you updated on this. If you are out and about to right now, I know maybe some of you just coming back from lunch, pretty intense storm here. If you're in Rantoul, the storm is going to be on top of you next. Going to ride there along 136 Fisher as well. Also, anybody that is watching us here on the chat or in the chat here, let us know where you're watching from and let us know if you have any reports. Those reports can come in handy that we can pass along to the Weather Service in the event that you get any hail reports or wind damage there as well. I will say this, we do have, of course, meteorologist Jacob Dickey. I've got his shot up here. He's in the StormTracker. Looks like he is in the midst of it. When we get in contact with him, we'll possibly try to chat with him here in just a moment. But the storm right now that we are keeping an eye on really is packing a punch here. You can see the severe thunderstorm warning is in effect here from Rantoul. We can kind of widen the view out here, just kind of give you a bigger view of things. And you can see how there's still just some scattered thunderstorms around the area. But the severe weather threat is definitely the highest right now here in Champaign County, especially on the northern portion of Champaign County. You can see from Mahomet over to Thomasboro, heading towards Flatville and Sellers now, storming pretty good from Fisher to Dewey over to Rantoul, and heading towards Ludlow. And so this is going to be eventually towards the Middle Fork Forest Preserve, Penfield. The warning does include Rossville, Bismarck, Collison, Potomac, just to name a few spots there, Armstrong, Alvin. All of those areas could be impacted by this over the next 45 minutes or so. As you look at other locations, and here's always what I try to tell people when we kind of cut in here and do the warnings, because everybody wants to know, what about my town? What about my town? If we're not talking about your town, within a minute or two of when you're tuning in, that usually means that you don't have the immediate threat just yet. We talk about the towns that are immediately under a threat, and right now those happen to be those into portions of Champaign and Vermilion County there. Again, there's another view from the StormTracker with Jacob that is out there. I'm going to see if I can't try to pull in some of his audio and see if we have him. Let's see here. Jacob, if you are there, go ahead and talk. Go ahead and talk to me. Let me know what you're seeing. What do you got out there? So it sounds like he's got a lot of rain right now. And so we're going to establish that connection here with him and see if he's got anything where he is. And see if he can hear us. He's definitely in the middle of it. I actually just left the station not too long ago. So we'll get in contact with him here in just a second. Definitely probably some good winds. Let's see if I can't pull up our weather camera here, because we got a pretty good little view of the storm as it was coming in, and you can kind of see here almost kind of the shelf cloud here, because where you're looking at is essentially there's a break actually from Champaign, kind of, Kirby Road southward there. The heavy stuff is on the north side of town, and then there's some stuff coming in on the west side there as well. So that's kind of what we're looking at here. So that is the view from our camera that is down at the stadium, at Memorial Stadium. If we showed you the one here at the studio, that one may be a little bit more difficult to see anything from, because again, the storm was literally right on top of us. What we'll do is we'll zoom things out here once again, see if we can pick out anything. Yeah, you can still kind of see that leading edge of the storm, and then we pan it here back to the north, and you can see how that cloud base, a little bit lower, and that heavy rainfall there, that dark area is what you're going to be seeing here in terms of that severe potential. Heavy rainfall and some hail in there. And you can kind of see it right there, the structure right there of the storm. As we look to the north, it's almost like that long shelf cloud again, producing the very heavy rain through the area. All right, so I think I've got Jacob now. Let me see if we can pull him in, show his shot. And so there's Jacob right now. He is in a heavy rainstorm. Jacob, where are you? What are you seeing right now?
Hey, Kevin, I just passed the curves on Dewey Fisher Road heading to the north. There's certainly some pretty intense wind right here. It's kind of hard to see. Visibility is down. There's gusty winds out of the north at my location, north and northwest. And I think you might be able to hear as well the pinging of the hail perhaps a little bit off the car. I mean, I assume we're probably doing some wind gusts of 40 to 50 here at my location. With the rain blowing in my face, a little hard to see. Cars certainly slowing down here, and trees whipping around, but nothing severe from the wind perspective. I think maybe at my location, I'm just below severe criteria, but at this point, there's probably some stronger wind and maybe a little bit bigger hail more to my north. So that's something that we will be keeping an eye on. Kevin, I'm going to head north, probably head my way up towards the Fisher area, 136 Dewey, maybe cut back to the east there. We will keep you updated on what we're seeing. But at this point, some really torrential rain, some blustery wind out here, and some small hail mixing on in. Live in the StormTracker on Dewey Fisher Road, north of Champaign. I'm Jacob Dickey. Kevin, I'll send it back.
Okay, Jacob, appreciate that. Thank you so much. Report there from the field. That's what we do, people. That's what you turn to us for. We're out there. We show you what's going on. We're not just here in the studio talking about a spinning map here with colors and whatnot. We take you to the storm. We show you what's going on there, give you the live eyes in the field. So here's the thing, guys. There's that storm. You can really see it on our tower cam. Our weather cam, they're looking off to the north, where, again, they are just getting pounded with that very, very heavy rainfall up that way, exactly where Jacob was reporting from there. And you can see that that leading edge there of the storm, definitely some heavy rainfall. You can even see on the edge of it there, see some of the clearing, some of the white of the sky there appearing in on the right side of your screen here in just a moment. And again, a very intense thunderstorm that continues to move through Champaign County right now with a severe thunderstorm warning that is in effect for Champaign and Vermilion County. Let's go ahead and show you the radar once again. Here's the wide view, and then we take you into where our storm is. And you can see it's very intense, a lot of heavy rainfall for sure. Blinding rain, as Jacob was just explaining there, as he was trying to drive through that heavy rainfall there. It is really coming down. We're squeezing out a lot of moisture, but embedded within this seems to be maybe a little bit of hail. I wouldn't be surprised if we've got some quarter-size hail in there somewhere. I'm just gonna look into the chat again on our Facebook Live that we're doing right now. What we have the ability to do is I see your guys' chat messages here over on the right, and so I can read them. So if you guys have any reports of hail, we would love to hear from you about that. So I can glance down there and see. Just let us know if you've got hail or any wind damage reports or wind gusts of any kind, and we can pass those along. But right now, again, as I mentioned before, if we're not talking about your area, nothing severe in your location at this time. Looks like they just went ahead and extended that warning up into Ford and Iroquois County now. So now you guys up from Paxton, Buckley, Onarga, Woodworth, Sista Park, includes Watseka to Milford. So this is a new severe thunderstorm warning to carry the storm to the north and east. And so now we've got 4 of our counties here under severe thunderstorm warning from Champaign, Vermilion, Ford, and Iroquois with this storm that is definitely bringing some heavy rainfall. The potential is there for some quarter-size hail at least. I'm not seeing much in the way of wind right now. Wind does not seem to be a huge thing from what I can see when we look at the velocity, but it's not to say that things couldn't ramp up a little bit. But we are definitely finding the heavy rainfall, the hail within the storm. And this is kind of show you a little bit of a path of where this is going and how it's developed over the last 45 minutes. And you can see how a lot of the movement is to the north and to the east. And so this is the general progression that's going to go. You may be saying, okay, I'm in Danville. What about Danville? Well, right now you're not in the warning, but look how these storms are just kind of popping up. See, there was nothing there about 10 minutes ago, and then all of a sudden, boom, we got a little cell there. So these storms are continuing to evolve. We're just kind of in this messy kind of atmosphere where these storms can really kind of get going. And that's what we've got here right now. And I'm starting to get a little concerned maybe potentially of the heavy rainfall and the flooding potential that could also exist here, kind of the same areas. I mean, this is a lot of moisture that's coming down here and dropping, some really heavy rainfall in kind of the urban area. You get those typical places that like to flood. You get some of the ponding of water on the roadways there. So kind of keep that in mind as well, on top of the hail potential that is there as well. Not seeing any reports here of hail. We had some early reports south of Seymour of possibly a little bit of hail to the size of quarters and nickels. Here again is Jacob's shot. You can see just how difficult it is to see in the driving rain. So be careful if you have to be out and about. Again, our severe thunderstorm warning continues here for now. Champaign, Vermilion, Ford, and Iroquois counties, all of those areas now with the severe thunderstorm tag associated with it. And it looks like when we read up on the warnings here, the threats for these are the winds of 60 or quarter-size hail. They're also moving pretty slow, only at about 25 miles an hour. So a very slow-moving storm to the north and east. And that is kind of what we're dealing with right now. I know it's coming down pretty good here in Rantoul. Let's zoom just a little bit closer, and you can see what we typically look for. Obviously, the red is going to be a really heavy rainfall, maybe sometimes some hail. We look for maybe some purple in there, and there are a few little specks of that that are showing up. The purple would also indicate maybe some hail at times, but this storm is definitely going to be one to watch. I'm not as concerned about a tornado at this time. This is a hail wind threat and a flooding, possibly a flooding threat right now. But that's not to say that something couldn't kind of spin up within there. If it did, it'd probably be pretty rain wrapped and tough to see. So kind of keep that in mind too. You're not going to be able to go out and just kind of view this thing. So that's what we are looking at right now. Let's switch back over to the weather camera, see what it looks like here in Champaign. And now we're kind of getting hit on that back side now. That's our camera from Champaign. Let me kick things over to our stadium camera again and see, as it's a little bit more to the south, see what its view is. And it's also starting to get some of the rain. So now most of Champaign now getting in on the heavier rainfall here. We'll see if we get any reports of hail. The radar is saying that there's some hail in there. Yeah, maybe some penny-sized hail. So don't be surprised if you hear some of that as it begins to roll through the area. But we definitely have this thunderstorm that is bringing with it an intense level of rain. Now, back to the west, there are other storms that are trying to form. And this is a day where I will admit that some of the weather models have not been the greatest. They've been kind of all over the place. One shows one thing, one shows another. So we've kind of been in this limbo of how are things going to evolve here. And there's still a lot of time, I think, where severe weather could be possible through the rest of today. So we're still looking at storms to the south and west coming out of the St. Louis area. We've got other little cells that are kind of popping up across the region. Right now, obviously, the most intense storm continues to sit over Champaign County, heading into Ford, and Iroquois County now, and a lot of heavy rainfall there stretching from Penfield, west of Penfield to Rantoul there. That's the real heavy stuff. Just maybe letting up a little bit more in Mahomet than what we had a little while ago. But definitely still a very intense storm. Reading some of your messages, I got some very windy conditions in Paxton right now. Downpour in Fisher for a while. Crazy rain in Rantoul. Those are some of the reports. Mahomet got hail. How big was the hail in Mahomet? Looks like that was Kristen. Kristen said Mahomet got hail. If you have hail, we would love to know the hail sizes. Just saying that we have hail doesn't completely tell the whole picture, so we would love to know what size. Was it pea size? Was it quarter size hail? That would be helpful. So let us know if you do get some of that. I am starting to see maybe there's a little bit of that purple showing up there. So that's going to be just west of Thomasboro. I would be surprised if maybe Thomasboro, maybe you guys get some of that hail as that little complex begins to roll in there as well. Meteorologist Seth Butoff is in the studio here with us as well. And Seth, boy, this storm kind of really fired up, and we've got additional storms that are going. Talk to us a little bit about what you expect here through the rest of this afternoon.
Yeah, just going to kind of have to be a thing that we kind of feel it out as it goes along. Like you said, the models are not doing a terrific job, haven't really done a great job all day long. So that's kind of the stage that we're at, kind of watching and seeing those mesoscale features, we call them, to make sure we know kind of what's going on. What I'm going to do here real quick is I'm going to put my radar here on the screen, and we are going to see a new severe thunderstorm warning that is actually in effect for a good portion of the Macoupin County and Montgomery County areas. This one also kind of warned for the baseline stuff, 60-mile-an-hour gusts and quarter-sized hail. You can kind of see there's not tremendous structure to this, but we're starting to see some pink kind of pop up in there, and that's obviously showing us some of that quarter-sized hail. What I'm going to do here real quick, I'm going to put the hail size chart on there, just what the radar is kind of detecting from that standpoint. And I saw this just before the warning went on. We're starting to see some of these light blues and dark blues. I believe dark blue is right when you get to that 1 inch in diameter hail size there. So we got about quarter size hail south of Hillsborough, got quarter size hail just next to Staunton there as well. So that's what's inside these storms. And these warnings are awfully big too. Don't always see these warnings span multiple counties, the large percent of multiple counties in just one warning, but that's what we're seeing here at the moment. And again, just to put that on the screen, what exactly we're expecting in this warning, that is going to be, again, the 60-mile-an-hour gusts and the quarter-size hail down there in the southwest corner of the area. So just one of kind of two storm clusters that are currently severe warned. The other one, obviously, here in Champaign County, got lots of rain with that one at the moment as well. I'll even throw on the Neal Street camera to see what's going on right outside the studio. I did not get in here too long ago. I had to drive through some of that rain. It was super heavy there for a moment. Had some folks scrambling in downtown Champaign there along Neal Street just to find some shelter from the rain. So that is certainly a big thing that we're watching with this, is the heavy rain, almost the slow movement. And just one last thing to show you here is the 1 hour rainfall totals, which are already starting to get to pretty high numbers. I'm going to refresh that number there because that was posted about 5 minutes ago. Let's just drop one right there next to Fisher, see how much rain you've gotten in the last hour. That is up to, it's kind of populating in here, 2 inches in the last hour. So lots and lots of rain, probably getting some roads to get close to getting some water standing on them in some places. And just northwest of Champaign here, just outside of town, also seeing close to 2 inches, actually over 2 inches of rain. So a problem we're going to have to deal with, kind of like what we had to deal with even into last week in some of those stationary storms. So on top of the actual severe stuff, the 60-mile-an-hour winds, the quarter-size hail, also have to worry about that rain in a particular spot. It's pretty localized, but if you are in that spot where you're seeing a ton of rain, definitely starting to see it kind of pile up right now, Kevin.
Okay, very good. So again, this storm, boy, it's definitely packing a punch here. It's got some really heavy rainfall. Paul is east of Thomasboro. He says, boy, it is sideways raining east of Thomasboro. I would believe that. Let's zoom just a little bit closer there, and you can see heavy rainfall and possibly even maybe a little bit of hail there. Hail in Mahomet. Amber, so that's the second hail in Mahomet that I got. What size hail? I'd love to know the size of the hail, if you can tell me what that was. Amber, I think Amber and Kristen both said some hail. Let's see. Branches down in Fisher, small amount, some small hail there in Fisher as well. From earlier, looks like things are calming down in both Mahomet and Fisher. So, love to hear some reports from Mahomet and Fisher area about what you may have seen in terms of hail size, or if you had any damage, size of those branches and whatnot, and what you may have seen. Oh, so Sarah says pebbles of hail in Mahomet. So obviously pretty small. We would probably attribute that to maybe some pea-size hail is probably the term that we typically use there. Brooke also said hail in Fisher. Size of the hail. Let us know the size of the hail. Let us know what that could be. The storm still looking pretty intense, and you can see some of the areas here, the purple color here, where the hail possibly is located. So keep that in mind. If you are there now, kind of west of Willard, that little area may start to come in and bring some hail to the area. And just for Jacob's sake, Jacob is out there, and I'm just going to answer your question. Hopefully you can hear me. But I do have the weather IFB on, but they are currently recording stuff for the morning show. So that's an issue right now. So just for your FYI there to Jacob, who's out there. Again, there his view. Looks like he is. Well, he's coming up on I-57 there, so I guess he's going to be over there near Rantoul. I think he's near Rantoul right now. So, yep, there he is. So that looks like Rantoul. Still coming down pretty good. Just got a report of some Sonic-sized ice from I believe that was Mahomet. Pea-sized hail in West Champaign. You can see Jacob shot there showing the really, really heavy rainfall. Okay, so there was my concern, and I knew this was going to happen. They went ahead and issued a, I believe there's a flash flood warning that's just coming out. Let's see here. Is that for us here? I'm trying to double check here. I got an alert for a flash flood warning. And that's going to be somewhere because just given how much rain that we've had. So let's see. Yep, Champaign County, flash flood warning. So this is a lot of rainfall here, people. And boy, you get this much rain, you're talking about, in an hour's time, as Seth was kind of showing some of those numbers there, and it's not done. There's still this heavier batch that's still set to move through Champaign. So the Weather Service is saying that heavy rain, between 1 to 2 inches of rain, has fallen. Rainfall rate is at 1 to 2 inches an hour. And so flash flooding is most likely ongoing across the area. So we just got a report also, 150 heading to Mahomet has flooding over it. So Highway 150 heading to Mahomet. I'm not sure exactly where along 150, but somebody just said that do not take 150 heading to Mahomet. Already heavy flooding early on in the storm. So definitely seeing the flooding here now taking shape. And so let me try to, I'm going to try to clear off some of all this. So you can just kind of see the warnings. And so that is the area. So we're kind of overlapping in terms of the severe thunderstorm warning and then the flash flood, but I just kind of want to show you the area that stretches up here from Fisher over to Rantoul, down to St. Joe, Sydney, and Tolono and Seymour. All of those areas now under the flash flood warning. So be careful if you're out there, because it looks like things are definitely really, really dangerous in terms of the flooding aspect of things. So we've got that, and then these severe thunderstorm warnings as well. Jacob?
We have a tornado warning now, Kevin,
okay,
just outside Hillsborough in Montgomery County.
Okay, so tornado warning, and this is going to be south and west. So let's bring things back over here. This is going to be down here in Montgomery County with these other little cells that are developing. And so this is going to be just to the east of Litchfield, south and west of Hillsborough. and what looks to be most likely a definite rain-wrapped tornado. But you can see when we look at the velocity there, we're seeing some of that rotation. Okay, when we're switching between the two different radars, that's why the colors kind of change there. But we definitely have a little bit of rotation that is ongoing here. This is going to be south of Hillsborough, Montgomery County. So they've got this tornado warning that is in effect down there. Again, this is east of I-55, far southwest part of our viewing area there. And so we've got that. I want to pull up Jacob here as well, because he's showing me some flooding there. It looks like some flooded roads there in Rantoul. That's his shot there. I just saw a car kind of kick up some of the water, so be careful of the ponding of the water there on the roadways as you're kind of coming through. So there he is in Rantoul, and you can see just how heavy that rain is continuing to come down in his area. So you can see as the cars come in his direction, you can almost see it looks like even some moving water coming over the road there. And there you go. There's the water kicking up. So that's live in Rantoul right now. Okay, so we're doing two things. We're tracking severe thunderstorm with hail, with damaging winds. We're tracking flooding that is ongoing out there. You can even see some of those vehicles. I think they're in front of them. Boy, some of the vehicles in front of them seem like they're in some heavy waters there ahead too. Up at the stoplight up there, it's like a truck kind of coming through. So it looks like maybe even some debris there coming. So again, this is a live view from the StormTracker with Jacob there, showing the heavy rainfall, the flooding that is happening right now. There he is. Jacob, yeah, go ahead and talk to us there. We'll go ahead and punch you up. What do you got there?
Yeah, Kevin, we're sitting here on 136, just to about a block west of 45. And this intersection's got a lot of water, a lot of moving water from downtown north of me across the road here to the right. And you can see cars that are driving into it. And the other thing is the railroad bridge viaduct is behind me. So what I'm going to try and do is, while I've got you, is take you around the block, because that started to fill up with water pretty quickly here. I don't think that's going to stay above the water much longer, one of those low spots. And if the rain falls like it is here in Champaign, some of those same viaducts under the railroad track going to have some problems here as the rain has been really intense. So let me pop around the corner, and now I'm on Congress Street, going to slip back one block, take another left, and then I'll show you that viaduct that I kind of drove through the middle of the road because the sides were picking up water pretty quickly here. The rain really coming down. A lot of farm fields were quickly showing water being submerged into the fields there, and that's going to be the case as well with some of these roads. 136 west of Rantoul also is dealing with some problems out in the industrial park there, where we were seeing a lot of water. So we're going to come around the corner here, and you'll see the viaduct. And I don't know how much longer folks are going to be able to drive through here, but they're starting to slow down. So we'll be kind of watching what goes on. One thing to remind folks is, remember, turn around, don't drown. That white car's got the right idea. I think there's going to be some other folks before long who maybe make a mistake here, Kevin. So look at all the water coming to the sidewalk, just rushing down and in the road in front of me here to the viaduct. Now going underwater on 136 here in Rantoul. That's what I got. I'll leave the shot up for you, and I'll send it back to you, Kevin.
Jacob, appreciate that. Boy, look at that. Oh, man, I would not be driving through there like, oh, man. Yeah, usually we would tell you what not to do. It's one way to, damage your car. Uh-oh, and his lights just went out. Oh, did he just stall out there? So, again, might have some electrical issues. Oh, yeah, I think his car is stalled there, potentially. Oh, okay. So, gentleman there, I don't know. It seemed like his car maybe died going through that water that he's trying to get it going. So there it is, and Rantoul again as that heavy rain is moving through. So it looks like he may have stalled the car out. That's exactly why we tell you not to drive through, because you get that water up in there in that engine, and it's going to go, nope, I'm good, no more. So we'll see what these other cars are doing here. And we're going to get back to this tornado warning here in just a second, because it does look like pretty intense there coming in there to the southwest side of Hillsborough there. But here comes another vehicle rolling through. Again, careful over there, guys. And we know this Vitek floods all the time. We know it has for years. And so that's what we're looking at there, guys, with the storms that are kind of coming through, heavy rainfall. You don't want to drive through, even though you think that your car can make it. So obviously that car has stalled over there. I want to jump. We'll come back to the flooding here in a second, but we want to talk about this tornado warning that is out there as well. We're still keeping a close eye on it. It is southwest of Hillsborough. It's down into Montgomery County. And Seth, you've been taking a look at that storm there. It's got some interesting motion on it. And tell us a little bit about kind of what you're seeing over there with that storm that currently has a tornado warning associated with it. I'd love to hear your thoughts on that.
Yeah, Kevin. Luckily, at the moment here, we're not seeing this immediately inside a populated area, but it is kind of heading in that direction. So we need to be very careful. You see that circulation moving very slowly, still kind of a broader looking circulation. We're a little high up in the radar there, but this is kind of right between Hillsborough and Litchfield, just getting on Illinois 16 right now. And this does not have a lot of speed to it. It's warned moving north at 5 miles an hour. So it is not going very fast in this at all, but we need to really be careful there in that stretch between Litchfield and Hillsborough there over the next, over the next 30 minutes, maybe 45 minutes, just kind of depends how long this thing kind of takes its time. I'm hearing Jacob say we need to go to him, Kevin, so let's see what he has.
All right, Jacob, I'm going to pop you up there. What you got? Oh, wow, look at that. Go ahead, Jacob, let me punch up your audio.
Our wrecking Yeah, hey, just had another car, almost rear end one in front of me here. I was just looking at radar also. If you guys can, I think we're about to get walloped with some wind here in Rantoul, perhaps the south and east side towards Gifford. So somebody can check that out as well. Seeing the wind velocities really increase on that. And then I'm also really interested right east of Auburn in Sangamon County on that storm too. Perhaps a little rotation trying to go. But this is, man, I thought for a second we're going to have a car rear end, the stalled out one. Don't have any authorities on scene here yet, but certainly this viaduct is, okay, there's a second car stalled out there. This viaduct at 136 is impassable now, folks. You do not want to be driving. Remember, turn around, don't drown. If you can let me know about that wind that's just south of Rantoul, give me some thoughts on that. I will send it back to you. And if you want me to head towards Gifford, I can do that as well.
Already a couple of cars that are stalled. Is that looks like somebody maybe trying to get out of that vehicle that is there. Again, this is a viaduct that floods all the time in Rantoul. That does not diminish the fact that, yeah, you put yourself in a dangerous situation there. You might ruin your car. You're putting yourself in a dangerous situation, as Jacob said, that somebody almost just rear-ended somebody else. So that water still coming up. Look at the water rushing down. There's the water just coming rushing down there. In that area that, yes, typically does flood. But that's kind of what we're looking at here, what we are dealing with. And it's not just that, but as you just mentioned, the flooding, and then there's potential wind. You can see the gentleman there. He's hanging out there on his car. There's a car sideways in the middle of the road there. Just a dangerous situation. You don't want to put yourself in that. Lot kind of happening there. Multiple vehicles now getting stuck, trying to turn around, and it's not going to get any better. Now there's a train coming over the top of it there as well. Obviously, they're moving along just fine, but here comes a big truck. Looks like a big Ford carrying. He's got a trailer on it there. He's trying to navigate around the Pontiac G6 that looks stuck there in the middle. So that's what we've got there. And yes, Jacob was just mentioning there is some wind there on the southeast side of Rantoul, it looks like as well. East of Thomasboro, there's a little pocket there of some 55 mile-an-hour winds there. And that might be headed towards Gifford. We'll see. Boy, that the guy there's got his the passenger side door that's open now. And again, and that water is going to be coming in on the passenger side there before too long. So we've just got a lot that we're kind of looking at here, and it is still raining in Champaign, and I'm starting to hear maybe, so there he is. Okay, so looks like The lady there is closing the door. Oh goodness. Oh, dangerous. Almost fell over there again. And walking in that stuff, you never know what's underneath the water. This is exactly the exact scenario that we worry about when we tell people don't run, don't walk through it, don't drive through it. You don't know what is underneath. You don't know if a manhole cover has come up. You could fall right down through the middle of the manhole, and go down in that. So again, guys, I know, yes, this happens all the time, but it's still, I don't know why people still drive through it and still try to navigate through those waters there. So yes, we are very well aware that this happens a lot. Okay, guys, let's talk about, again, this tornado warning that is still in effect for portions of Montgomery County here. Still some broad rotation on this storm, and it's really kind of rain wrapped in there as well. What I want to do is I want to bring it back here to the Rantoul storm, because I want to show you this wind I was talking about. See these bright pinks? Whenever we get these pink colors here, that is an indicator usually of some higher winds. And so it's going to be just kind of north of Flatville, and yeah, probably heading towards Gifford. There might be some gustier winds with that. So you've already had the rain, the flooding there. It's happening now. Some gusty winds, maybe a little bit of hail. But we look for those brighter pink colors there. Those are showing us the wind speeds being just a little bit stronger. If we kind of query those and say how fast are those, we can ask the radar to look at it, and it's showing 55 miles an hour. So 55-mile-an-hour wind, that's a little bit off of the surface there, but gives us at least a general idea of what potentially this storm could have in terms of the hail, or I should say the wind threat with them as well. So that's what it looks like from the velocity signature. We come back to the reflectivity. It's just heavy rain that continues to come down, and flooding ongoing across parts of Champaign County. They have let the severe thunderstorm warning expire. It's no longer in effect here for Champaign-Vermilion County. Okay, so just a heads up on that. The one is still in effect up here into Fort and Iroquois County, so Cissna Park, heading towards Milford. They're going to see what that storm does in Fort and Iroquois County. This thunderstorm showing the potential for some really heavy rainfall, some gusty winds and hail. We'll come back down to our storm here that has the tornado warning. That is near Litchfield. Again, this would be absolutely rain wrapped. You couldn't see it. You're not going to see a funnel. You're not going to see that classic kind of thing. But there's still some of that rotation showing up within the storm. The rotation there is going to be essentially just west of Hillsborough now, because it's kind of drifted. It's kind of done one of these numbers here. And so now it's going to be west of Hillsborough, and along Highway 16, where the potential is for the tornado. There's definitely possibly some stronger winds in that there as well. But boy, the heavy rainfall with this, the hail threat, the damaging wind threat, multifaceted kind of severe weather event kind of ongoing here. And it's just the beginning. So I want to show you the wider view of everything again to give people the bigger picture. Oh, and then we've got the storm over here in Springfield as well, that near Chatham, that has a severe thunderstorm warning associated with it. So there's a lot going on here. Let me click back over to Jacob's camera here real quick. Looks like maybe, I think they're pushing the vehicle now. Is that somebody, are they trying to push the vehicle out? So now it looks like they're trying to push that Pontiac G6 out of the water. I think there's somebody behind there. Boy, that's going to be tough up that hill. Unless it's just kind of, it's going to be tough there. Tough sledding there. A couple of people trying to push that car out. At least they're kind of out of the heaviest of the water there. But again, let's see here. Well, let's just switch back on Jacob's mic there. Jacob, what are you seeing there right now? Let us know what's going on.
Oh, I can hear you now. Sorry, ClearCom went down. Can you guys hear me? Yep, police is on scene here now. They are blocking things off here and stopping traffic. It looks like to me that might be an officer. I can't tell, but I got one right next to me here. I'll pop up the camera, and you can see that's the cop car right there. So they're blocking this intersection and keeping folks from driving into it. The good news is the rain has come down. It's not raining as hard, and looks a little clear off to the west. So hopefully we can clear this through so it doesn't rain too much. But And for a couple of these folks here who have driven through this flooded viaduct on 136, not a great day for them. Looks like they did get that car, though, all the way out. This guy just went around a police car trying to go through. Jeez. And now he's slowing it down. But, you know, folks, remember, a couple things. Cops are blocking roads. You don't want to go past them. And then the other thing, Kevin, I will say this. Hey, do you remember during the dust storm when we were saying turn your lights off? Well, during the heavy rain, most people had their hazards on. And I was looking at it thinking, well, I'm going to follow the car with the hazard lights on the road. If it was that dust storm, we would want the opposite. You get off the side of the road, turn your hazards off, because then people think you're a stationary object. So that's kind of one thing I noted as well during the rain. But it looks like the rain letting up here, which is some good news for us in Rantoul. It seems like there's still maybe a little light rain, and you can see the water still rushing down the side here from this parking lot on the north side. But yeah, that's what we're dealing with. It's flooded out here in Rantoul at the viaduct. Again, it does it quite a bit, but not often that we actually get some live footage to get back to y'all. So with that, I'm going to send it back to you in the studio from the StormTracker. I'm Jacob Dickey. Kevin, Seth, I'll send it back to you.
There, as you can see, maybe the water is going to start to come down a little bit, but it's still raining pretty good out there. We'll continue to kind of check in with that here in just a moment. I want to show you again that little area of wind. We were just talking about how it might get a little windy over towards Gifford, and that's kind of happening here right now. You can see heavy rainfall, and then maybe some gusty winds that are ongoing there over the Gifford area, sliding there maybe towards Penfield, in between Penfield and the Middle Forest Preserve. So there may still be some winds within that. They definitely have the heavier rainfall within that, and our storms here are bringing with it just several different facets, whether it's the flooding rains, whether it's the potential for some hail. And just kind of want to back things out. Fort and Iroquois, you still have the warning, but we've not talked a ton about this Springfield storm. And so it's going to be kind of coming in there. Do we have anything on tower cam there?
Yeah, it just looks a little rainy in the distance. It doesn't look wild or anything, but just kind of watching the southwest right now to see what might roll in.
Okay. So there might be some hail within that storm there as well. So right now, Chatham. Actually, sounds like there might be hail out here. We can hear hail out here sometimes. It kind of pings. There's something here on the roof where you can kind of hear some pinging. I'm just kind of wondering if we might even have some of that coming down here at the studio right now, because things are kicking up a little bit more. Let's see if I can't fire up our weather camera here in Champaign. We'll look at that. So really coming down, and then we have another camera that we can view. And that's what we call our Neal Street camera. And that's just outside, and it gives us more of that ground view. And again, here you can see the typical flooding that occurs here along Neal Street as people try to navigate and drive along here as well. When you get the ponding of water there, you know the spots down there by the ribeye on Neal. You get down there and boof, sometimes the water can be flowing over that. Any hail or anything? Or could you tell if there was...
I didn't want to go out there quite yet because it looks like it's leaking a little bit by our door, so I didn't want to let some more puddleage in. But we could definitely hear it. So probably wasn't very big, but there was just a little bit of water underneath the door there. I didn't want to let more in.
Yeah, I got you. If anybody has followed us in the past, you may know why we're a little concerned about
hesitant to let water in.
To open that door up. I'm sure our engineering staff is happy that we're not doing that. Let's talk about, again, the multiple areas that we have warnings on. First off, we've got an area here, Montgomery, Macoupin County. They still have the tornado warning, but it does look like
St. Louis says they're going to let it expire once it hits its timer.
That's a lot of heavy rainfall. It's just a severe thunderstorm warning, so just a lot of kind of messiness there. We go a little bit more to the north. Listen, there's not a warning there in Zenobia, Kincaid, but that's a pretty intense storm. There is a warning just to the north and west of that. That includes up towards Chatham to Springfield. And then we skip things here a little bit. And we jump back. We've got the flash flood warning in effect for Champaign County. No surprise there. But the storm is still dropping that heavy rainfall here in Champaign. Now, Fort and Iroquois, they've continued the severe thunderstorm warning up there. So Cessna Park, storm heading for you, going to be packing a pretty good punch there. To Wellington, Milford here before too long. It's raining really heavy there in Rankin. And looks like some activity there, even in Vermilion County, just north of Potomac, Rossville along Highway 1, heavy rainfall, maybe some hail in there. Let me see if we're still seeing any of the indications of any wind. Looks like, yeah, kind of spreading out a little bit more there in Penfield. Again, we kind of look for that pinkish color there. The brighter the colors, the faster some of the winds could be. And so there might be some stronger winds there over Penfield. That is going to be heading up towards Ellis Armstrong area, up 49. So we'll watch that as, again, the storms all are pretty much kind of having the same characteristics with them. Extremely heavy rainfall. Some nickel-sized hail. We've not heard of anything bigger than quarters so far. And then obviously maybe a gusty wind. We've not heard of any reports. And what I will do is while we kind of view things here for a second and pull up our weather camera once again. We've got a lot of you that are in our weather chat or on the chat here on Facebook, and we can see your comments. So if you have anything, let us know what you may have received in your area in terms of hail size. What did you get in terms of, any wind damage? Tell us your town. Tell us how big the hail was, and if you did have any wind damage reports and whatnot there from that. Then also, we'll pull back up Jacob's camera there. As you can see, second officer is over there. Another vehicle still stalled there in the water underneath the viaduct. And so it looks like the rain is letting up a little bit in that area. So we are going to be continuing to keep an eye on that. So here's our view again in Champaign. It is still coming down here. Really heavy rainfall outside the studio. Our Neal Street camera shows the water there that typically kind of pools up there along right before Green Street. And let's see here. I'm going to listen to or take a look at some of you guys' comments over here. It's hailing downtown. I'm not sure where downtown is, Shirley. What town? Got a small lake in my front yard in Thomasboro, says Jake. 74 eastbound is slow at the 57 exchange. That makes sense. A lot of heavy rainfall. Pea-sized hail off Bloomington Road. So, again, we've not heard any huge hail reports. Starting to hear thunder in Rossville. So that's kind of what we've got here right now with all of the different warnings and reports coming into us here. But it has been raining in Champaign for a while. Why don't you pull up again, Seth, the rainfall
check it out
estimates here. There. I'd be curious to see what some of those rainfall estimates might be.
Do that real quick here. I'll put myself on. Flip it over.
Wild here. And again, that's constantly kind of updating.
So we will clear that one out. Let's just get the Champaign ones real fast. Just get a little closer in here and see. Let's just go south of Rantoul there, kind of in the mossy green. That's probably going to be upwards of 2, maybe 2.5. So that's 2 right there. Kind of heading farther north of Champaign, 2.3 just in the last hour. Keep that in mind. Let's just put one east of Fisher there. Probably also getting close to 2 inches. So 1.5 to probably 2.5 inches here just in the last hour in the Champaign area alone. I'm just going to kind of explore some other places there, see where there's potentially some more of that once tornado-warned storm just in the Montgomery County area. Let's just look right inside Hillsborough there and Litchfield. Probably, 2+ inches in those areas just in the last hour alone. So with the slow-moving nature of these storms, it doesn't have to be raining super hard for you to get the rain to pile up very quickly. So, oh, man, we just got a refresh on that. So let me drop a new one in there because that gave a yellow color to things. Now, that's probably closer to 2.5 now. Yeah, we're getting close to 3 inches in Litchfield just in the last hour there. And east of Staunton, we might be right at 3 inches too in the last hour. 2.7 is the highest we have right now. So, definitely going to see more situations like what we saw with Jacob earlier. If we can get some of that there on the roadways, there's probably quite a bit of the heavy rain and the flooding on the roads there to be seen in a few spots here across the area right now, Kevin, like we were seeing Jacob have there earlier.
Okay, very good. Appreciate that update there. I wanted to also show the storm that is down into Christian County. It's starting to show maybe a little bit of wind down there southwest of Taylorville, between Taylorville and Morrisonville. So I wouldn't be surprised there for some gusty winds. So just kind of be aware as that storm is kind of coming in and kind of developing down that way along Highway 48. Heavy rainfall in so many locations that stretch from, let's just go all the way to the west out here. You've got portions of Morgan County storms. You've got the storm from Chatham up to Springfield, heavy rainfall there. You get over here towards Zenobia, you get up towards Edinburgh, and then additional cells are trying to fire off here east and southeast of Decatur, Cerro Gordo, Bument. Additional cells again south of Seymour, and it's still raining here in Champaign, up to Thomasboro, Penfield, and heading into portions of Ford and Iroquois County, Cissna Park. You've got the heavy rainfall. Boy, a lot going on. The Weather Service here just kind of talking to us, letting us know that definitely the flooding threat is picking up in a lot of areas, and there is still the threat for damaging winds and hail. And as we go throughout this afternoon, there's still a tornadic threat. They're saying that there might be an isolated tornado if we get some redevelopment here, if the atmosphere kind of recovers. So it's something we're going to have to monitor carefully as we go throughout this afternoon into this evening. But you can see how these storms are just dropping a ton of rainfall out there here tonight. So let's just kind of look at the warnings once again. We'll back it out. So obvious flash flood warnings, Montgomery, Macoupin, Champaign County. The severe thunderstorm warnings are still from Montgomery, Macoupin, and then Ford and Iroquois still has their severe thunderstorm warning associated with it. Additional storms are trying to come out of the St. Louis area. We're going to have to watch out for those. But again, if you've not seen rain, if you've not seen storms where you are, that necessarily is not a good thing. What that tells us is that potentially that your atmosphere has not been worked over, that your atmosphere may be conducive for the development of more severe storms as we go throughout the course of this evening. So, because usually what happens is the storms come through, they kind of rob the atmosphere of some of that instability. The storms sometimes don't stay as strong. But if you have been, what we like to say, the atmosphere has been untouched by other storms, you have that energy set up for additional storms that can fire off later today. So that is something to keep in mind. I swear I'm hearing that ping sound again outside of the studio, where maybe we're getting some of that hail there as well. Yeah, maybe. I think there might be some hail in there. I can just kind of see some things maybe kind of bouncing a little bit there. I think you might have some pea-sized hail here in Champaign right now, just outside of the studio. So Jacob's waving at us over there, so let's pull him in and talk to him, as Jacob is still over there at that kind of flood scene. So Jacob, what do you got over there? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, so just updates on what we're looking at here for the flooding. Again, police have got it closed down. Public utilities there, they've got cones. So 136 is closed at the railroad bridge in Rantoul. One car's still there. The other car got towed off, and so we'll probably be leaving here pretty quickly and moving in a different direction. I want to pose a couple of thoughts to y'all real quick. You're in the studio. First off, when I look at the storm over Potomac, and I look at it on the Indianapolis radar, it looks a little more evident to me that there may be some rotation aloft. That sticks out to me for Vermilion County. I don't see it on Lincoln. I don't see it on Chicago. The other thing is, before I send it back to you, is the storm south of Springfield also really piquing my interest. I feel like we may see an evolution where those two storms are combining, merging together, and that could also spin up a circulation in southern Sangamon County. Those are the two areas of interest for me at this point. South of Auburn, Pawnee, maybe in that area, the storms lifting north through Christian Montgomery County, kind of colliding with the storm sitting over I-55 south of Springfield. So that'll be interesting to see what happens. That's my two observations that I have from here. What I may end up doing, Kevin, I'm probably going to start going to the east. I'm not going to catch up to that storm by Potomac, but if something happens, we will certainly get there and see if anything's happened. But I wanted to make you guys aware of what I was seeing, and I'll send it back to you on that note. Kevin?
Thanks a lot there, Jacob. Appreciate it. You're right. That storm there near Potomac is definitely interesting on radar. Let me pull it back up for us here, because this is what we're talking about. We definitely can see something there, okay? So there's not a warning right now, but, man, there might be something, definitely some stronger winds. Whenever we're starting to get some of those greens and those reds, pinks kind of right next to one another, it definitely kind of draws our attention to go, well, what do we got going on over there? And I'm definitely seeing that there near Potomac, just north of Potomac, going to be south and west of Rossville. So let's just kind of watch this here, okay? See what the next few radar scans show. But there's definitely something in there that has my eyes peeled there a little bit. Definitely some strong winds there in Potomac, and everybody's over there right now or watching us on the stream. But if you're in Potomac right now, be on the lookout. And this thing is kind of, let me see what the path this has been going. It's kind of going off there to the east, and so between Rossville, Alvin, Bismarck, that area there. Keep an eye on things as the storm is just kind of evolving a little bit. We'll see if the next scan, that's usually kind of the telling sign, if the next scan kind of kicks something up or maintains that area of rotation. But there's definitely something within that there. I'm wondering if the Weather Service is let me see here.
If there is something in there right now, it's probably pretty rain wrapped too. There's a lot of dark red on there again. So it's kind of the same situation that we had earlier with that other warning, where if there is something, you probably cannot see it very well right now.
Yeah. So Jacob had asked the Weather Service in chat. So we have a direct chat with the Weather Service, asking about the storm. They said they're watching it closely. Let's see here.
Ooh.
That's a storm there that definitely I would, if you're over there in that area, just as a precaution over there, just kind of be on the lookout. Obviously, I wouldn't be outside trying to find. You're not going to see anything, okay? You're not. This thing is what we call rain wrapped. So where the rotation is, and I'll just kind of show it to you guys. So you've got reflectivity. So I'm going to put my finger basically where the rotation is here, and all that heavy rainfall is in the middle of the red. Okay, so you're not going to be able to see anything because it's heavy rain. It's what we call rain wrapped. If there's a circulation, it is covered in rain. It would just look like it's a heavy thunderstorm, but suddenly the winds kick up a lot. So right there, definitely you're getting some of those heavy rain. Is anybody in Potomac watching us on the stream here? Let us know if you're in Potomac here. I'd be curious to hear what you guys may be getting in your area, portions of Vermilion County there. Those are definitely some stronger winds sitting over Potomac. The rotation with that is just going to be north of town. So there's the updated scan now kind of going off there to the east towards Henning. And so that's what we've got now is definitely some stronger winds there showing up. And again, when the radar looks at this, it's looking at it really high up. But it's showing maybe some 65-mile-an-hour winds just off of the surface. So some pretty strong winds potentially associated with this at the least there in Henning right now. Pea-Size Hill in Hoopston. Got some people watching us in Rossville. If you're in Rossville right now, yeah, if you look, well, I don't want you to go out and do that, but to your south and west, that is where some of that rotation is. Yeah, it's okay. So they just issued a severe thunderstorm warning, tornado possible. So severe thunderstorm warning, tornado possible tag is what they call that. Okay, so if you're in Rossville right now, Henning, I would just, on the precautionary side, just go ahead and take shelter there, just in case this thing's expensive. This is one of the things that's really quick. It can happen really quick here. But they issued a severe thunderstorm warning, tornado possible tag associated with it. So it's literally the step just below issuing the tornado warning. There's some uncertainty there as to whether or not that could produce. But just by looking at this on radar, I would go ahead and just err on the side of caution. Hey, if you're home, get away from the windows, center part of your house, lowest level, as you kind of want to do anyways in a severe thunderstorm like this. So right now, definitely some rotation showing up in this. Again, it's kind of shooting a little bit further away from the radar, so it's sometimes difficult to see exactly what we've got. But they have the tornado possible tag associated with that storm. It is going to the north and east, and so Rossville, it's going to be heading in your direction. Definitely some of those stronger winds. And if you're up in Hoopston right now, yeah, it's south of you at the moment. But if you're anywhere there along Highway 1, I would be on the lookout for things. So again, we're kind of you see the colors changing because we're switching between the Indy radar, and then we go back to the Lincoln radar there. So that's why the colors change a little bit, but they're both kind of showing the same thing. The reds and the greens kind of next to one another, okay, in that same general area. So the next thing that I'll start to kind of look for is see if there's any kind of debris signature or anything like that. I'm not seeing that right now, but what we would typically see if there is a tornado, a lot of times, what you'll get is suddenly a blue color on this. This is what we call our debris tracker. We're looking at something called the correlation coefficient, and you would see an area that's kind of round and would be blue in color. And I'm not seeing that on that right now, but we definitely have some of the rotation. What that would tell us is, yep, there was a tornado. It lofted debris into the air. I don't have that right now, but we definitely still have some of the rotation associated with that storm. Kelly says her lights flickered in Paxton. So lights flickering over there. Somebody's also asking about what's going on back to the south and west. Okay, looks like I got Jacob's camera up there. What do we got? Got some more flooding over there from Jacob potentially. Okay, we'll check back in with him here in just a little bit. Looks like he might have some more flooding and some people turning around there. I'm not sure. Something there is in the middle of the road. I don't know. Let's see here. And sorry, I'm just trying to. Okay, so all right, there's Jacob's shot on his camera there once again. And you can see it looks like the water flowing over the road there. Let's see some of the dirt and whatnot. So, all right, let's see if I can pull in Jacob to see where his location is. And Jacob, where are you and what are you seeing?
Yeah, hey, Kevin. We are east of Rantoul, just past Dillsburg, and the road here completely covered with water. To me, I don't know if you can see here on the side as well, the water's just really bubbling up there in the grass. I think there's a culvert right here. I think there's a culvert under the road, which would make sense to me, but the water is coming over the entire road here. And so this is going to be a road closure, I suppose you'd say, on 136. I'm suspicious the water just really started picking up here to my right. So there may have been something that was either plugged in there or perhaps it's rushing over, but a lot of water in this. Here comes somebody. Look how muddy that is. That's a lot of dirt from the field. The farm to the north here, a lot of dirt and mud probably washed into the road. He's probably lost some seed corn or some seed, whatever's out there. So is 136 east of Rantoul going to be close? Flooding. You want to watch this guy try and make it through. So turn around, don't drown, folks. But, moving water takes 6 inches of fast-moving water, and you don't know what's under there. If that culvert washes out, you're going to have some problems. So we will be probably turning around, try to find a different route. Kevin, in the meantime, I will send it back to you, and we'll kind of watch things from here. Not going to be able to make that Vermilion County storm at all based on the way things look, but we will listen to reports from that area. And in the meantime, I'll be here in the Rantoul area for a little while. Live in the StormTracker, I'm Jacob Dickey. Kevin, back to you.
All right, sounds good. Thank you, Jacob, for the report over there. We will let you reposition and get to where you need to go so that you can continue to come back and deliver those reports to us. Sorry, here I'm trying to, yeah, there we go. So we're looking at that storm there that was over near Rossville. You had some of that rotation there. It looked a little bit better in the last few scans, but boy, every time I just keep looking back to that Indy radar. The Indy radar, you're going to shoot really far away on that, but something that we are keeping an eye on here.
As of a minute ago, an EM out of Vermilion County said there's spotters on it. Says moderate rotation 2 miles southwest of Rossville, but too much rain to see the ground level. So they're still seeing something as of a minute ago in it.
Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. So they've got some rotation on that. That's what we're seeing on radar. Just kind of peering at a couple of things. Yeah, it doesn't look as impressive as it did on the last few scans, but we will continue to watch that area there in Vermilion County. Severe thunderstorm warning with, again, tornado possible. Okay, they throw that on there. It's different from the regular just severe thunderstorm warning. There is the potential for a tornado to be associated with that. And so we call that the tornado possible tag with that. Other storms are starting
believe
to
that
fire.
one in Springfield also has the tag.
Yeah, look at that. They just added that one there. Boy, that what a mess of just really messy kind of storm. And what I mean by that is there's just a lot of precipitation. There's something called we call them PWAT values, precipitable water, and there's a lot based in the atmosphere to kind of ring out today, and we're getting that. These storms are very efficient rainfall producers, and we're seeing that. So I'm just going to look at this. I'm going to throw on the velocity and see if I can see where there might be some rotation in there. And it looks like maybe down there towards Pawnee, that's where some of the reds and greens are maybe showing up a little bit closer to one another. Maybe there's also a little area there south of Macon I'm going to keep an eye on. But, boy, it's tough to kind of pick out much there. There might be some rotation there. Pawnee, it's not real tight, but when we say tight or broad meaning that you don't have those winds kind of converging all one another. When we say it's tightening up, those winds are really starting to circulate there. And so we look for those reds and greens right next to one another and creating that rotation. So I'm not necessarily seeing that. Definitely a little bit. I want to come back up. I mentioned just south of Macon, and we see those anytime we kind of see the bright colors pop up there, that's indicative of maybe some stronger winds. So that's south of Macon. We switch back over to the reflectivity. You've got the heavy rainfall there. And again, this weird kind of line that's kind of arcing through all the way from Iroquois County through Vermilion County, where the severe thunderstorm warning is, through Champaign County, where finally I think the rain is starting to subside here at the studio, back through Piatt County, southeastern Macon County, a few little cells trying to pop up in Moultrie and Coles. Heavy thunderstorm over Springfield right now. Northwestern Christian County, again, the tornado possible tag associated with that storm there. And then on top of all of that, we've got a ton of rain. And it is coming down. It is flooding out there. Fields have got water across them. Roads have water across them as well. And, it is just something that we want people to be careful about if you're out and about here. Here's the thing. You've got the potential for the flooding aspect. You've got the potential for the hail, the damaging winds, and the isolated tornadic threat with all of these storms as well. Rossville, again, reported 60-mile-an-hour winds pounding his truck just outside of Rossville. That was a spotter there. So they had a spotter there in Rossville, and he said, I just got hit by 60-mile-an-hour winds, and would not be surprised that some of the radar signatures did indeed show that. So let's kick things back over to Rossville again. And I'm going to switch things back to the velocity on that. And so, yeah, looks like it just kind of passed over Rossville in terms of the stronger winds. You're now getting the really heavy rainfall there over Rossville and just south of Hoopeston. And this is going to be heading there, probably just clips kind of the southeast side of Hoopeston, and then eventually heads into Indiana. But that's the area where the winds were really strong. And so the spotter said 60-mile-an-hour winds. That was pounding his truck there in that area. Okay, looks like I got a report of River Creek overflowing, Cropland Yard basement flooding. 1 mile east of Champaign was a report that just came in. No surprise there. A lot of water. Let me click back over. Let's take a look at our Neal Street camera again. Again, things definitely calming down here. The waters, will subside. Hopefully the drainage systems do their thing, and we start to see a little bit of an improvement there. But there are some areas where it will not improve that quick, and it'll take a little bit of time before all of that gets resolved. But here's kind of that wide view of the storms. I'm going to click back over here and see if you guys are talking to us in the chat over here. Let us know any reports that you may have in your area. Kathy says the sun is back out in Mahomet, and that's exactly right. We've got tornado sirens. Let's see here. Chris, it says tornado siren off in Hoopeston. Sirens in Hoopeston. Tornado siren in Hoopeston. So they're sounding the sirens in Hoopeston right now, is what I'm being told. And people are asking why. Let's see if I can get any information on that, but they're sounding the sirens in Hoopston. Possibly somebody saw something. Law enforcement, I'm not sure, guys, but we don't have any information at this time. But they're sounding the sirens in Hoopston. That's what we're getting from you guys. A lot of you there watching us there. We'll try to see what we can find out. But there's still some rotation there. They just got rocked by some 60-mile-an-hour winds in that area. So we'll see what we can find out in terms of that. All right, so we just got reports that's a lot of flooding going on. Everything from Mattis and Curtis towards Carl on Curtis is flooded. All the subdivisions between them. So a lot of flooding there in Champaign that has occurred. A lot of water coming through the area. Wind is picking up in Potomac. They were being told, again, the sirens are sounding off. Let's see if we can't pull up our camera over in Danville. I'm going to see if I can pull that up here to show what we've got. So that's Champaign. Again, things calming down. This is our view in Danville. Again, you can kind of see to the north. Look how dark it is to the north. And that's where that cell is, where it is really, really bringing some heavy rainfall, some gusty winds, possibly some rotation with that storm. Again, this is going to be north of Danville. So if you're looking straight north there on Highway 1 there, that is quite the storm from Bismarck, Alvin, up towards Rossville, Potomac. That storm right there is definitely bringing with it some intense winds, and possibly, again, we're just watching the radar here carefully. Potential there for some rotation showing up on the storm. But boy, if you're in Danville, you've got quite the view off to the north of that thunderstorm there. Seth, you're back in here with us as well. A lot of heavy rainfall. Jacob reporting to us on some wild flooding there in Champaign. A lot of water that has come down. And I guess talk to us a little bit about kind of what we're seeing here in terms of the flooding aspect so far, and how these storms are just kind of all over the place in terms of what they're delivering with their intensity on all different levels.
Yeah, you're not kidding, Kevin. Continuing to look at our rainfall totals here. We've switched it from 1 hour to 3 hours because our storms are now outside that 1 hour period, of course, but this is still no more than 90 minutes worth of rain. And you mentioned all the flooding there right here in town. I believe we have close to 2 inches here on our latest view there on the rainfall totals, 1.9 right in town. And, of course, you go a little farther north, closer to Rantoul. That number increases close to 3 inches. So, yeah, northern Champaign County, the interstate kind of serving as the cutoff, has gotten a lot of rain, 1.5 to even up to 3 inches of rain, and starting to see that with that Vermilion County storm as it moves north as well. I see kind of that mossy green also close to 2.5 inches. And also on the far southwest end of the area there, between Hillsborough and even into parts of Litchfield there, I believe that orange is going to be upwards of 3 inches if we just drop our tag in there real fast, and it will reveal, yes, 3.5 inches, probably in no more than 2 hours there, closer to 90 minutes. So that is a lot of rain, and that is going to potentially be the biggest thing we see here over the next couple of hours, is that that heavy rainfall that continues to go across the area. But a lot of people watching the stream say 75% of the area has barely had any kind of noticeable rain at all. So it's crazy, the cutoff between having roads flooded over and water getting into your basement and just kind of having a normal day. You even mentioned the sun was out in a couple places there. So the cutoff there is very sharp, and probably going to continue to see that here as these storms stay a little more scattered. But we're starting to notice things kind of piece together a little more, kind of like a line of storms now connecting even parts of Iroquois County all the way through to Sangamon County right now. You had a nice view of the storm moving into Danville. I think we have a decent view of one moving into Decatur now as well. If I can get that to pop up here. I'm not sure which camera I have loaded up. I think it's Springfield. Let me pop in Decatur real fast here. And just a little bit of structure as that one's moving into town. Once we get that to populate in here, got the banner change. Yeah, starting to see the colors definitely getting a lot darker. They're looking off to the southwest, starting to see a little more turbulence there in the clouds and some lightning in the distance. So Decatur getting ready for something. Doesn't look like anything too crazy at the moment, but starting to see at least some structure here on these storms as that you're ready to move on into town. And we'll kind of just have to watch and see how those storms develop, because we've had stuff kind of happen even in the midst of heavy rain, which normally that heavy rain kind of keeps things from developing too much as far as rotation or anything, but that has not stopped a few of these storms so far here this afternoon, Kevin.
All right. Appreciate that report there for us, letting us know kind of what's going on. Again, there's our view from Danville. Right now, if you're in Danville, again, nothing going on there. It is all north of you, just north of you. Really intense storm that stretches there from Rossville up to Hoopeston right now. Even up towards Wellington, you guys are seeing a really intense storm there as well. Let's switch over to the StormTracker Doppler again. We'll throw up the radar, throw the colors on there. Again, it is widespread, this long line, but there are large chunks of the viewing area that are not seeing hardly anything. That isn't great news. That means that your atmosphere still has the potential for these storms to, tap into that instability and energy to get storms to form. And so I'm going to be watching places like Douglas, Coles County, that largely I've not seen a whole lot yet. Shelby County, eventually Edgar County. Those areas there have missed out on things. But this line is starting to kind of, come together, piece itself together here. And we may have these additional storms that can fire off over the next few hours. We'll be watching down to Effingham County, Cumberland County, Clark County here as the severe weather threat does exist. Again, those winds definitely showing up. I was just kind of peering at this here. I'm going to show you the velocity. If I can get that to come up. It's probably going to update here in just a second, but between Hoopeston and Rossville, there's definitely some really decent winds associated with the storm there. It was just showing up. I'm looking at another. Actually, I can pull that up. Here's what I'm going to do. Hopefully, I can pull that up. Let me come over here, and yeah. So these are the winds here within the storm that I was kind of talking about. Let me just switch this. So there's the velocity. So whenever you get those kind of pink colors that are showing up there, so that right there are your winds, probably, some 50, 55 mile an hour winds, maybe even higher. We get to that kind of pink color. So there it is there. So that's going to be past south and east of Wellington, okay, and then cross over into Indiana where they've continued the severe thunderstorm warning there. This is that broad rotation. You see the reds and then the greens? Okay, but notice how there's quite a bit here, there's quite a bit over here, and then the broad rotation that's associated with the storm, and that's what some of the spotters were saying. So they got hit by some of the winds. So you're looking at the reds and the greens. Maybe it's okay. What do these colors mean? Well, we're looking at the Lincoln Weather Service radar. Okay, so what this is showing us is our winds in the red color, winds blowing away from the radar. So the winds are doing this. But you get this green, and they're going towards the radar. So they're going this way. So naturally, this way and this way, connect the dots there. And if these get real close to one another, then you've got the rotation. This is where you were looking for what we call the tight couplet, those colors there next to one another. And so this is more broad in nature. If we saw these really kind of tight there, then that would be a little bit more concerning. But at any rate, that right there is a lot of wind that just probably went through Rossville to Hoopeston. And actually, I think we got some people that are, sorry about that. Forgot we had that pulled up. Chatting with us and telling us, hey, we have some power outages in the Rossville area. So we'll be checking in with Ameren and some of the other cooperatives, power cooperatives that service that area and see what they're doing. But we just had some people here in the chat, you see here, telling us that they do not have power up that way. Again, a lot of you have not seen much, and you're not out of the woods yet. That's the thing, is there is still the potential for storms to fire off here through the rest of this afternoon into this evening. The models did a very poor job of handling how this would evolve, and so we kind of have to almost throw those out the window here and just kind of say. Also being told that the sirens in Hoopeston are no longer going off. So potentially a mistake or a lightning strike or who knows what it was, but the sirens are not going off there in Hoopeston anymore. You are not under a severe thunderstorm warning, or a tornado warning, I should say. You are under that severe thunderstorm warning here, at least for a little bit. Boy, that storm there near Potomac, that one is kind of the second one. You guys already had one just kind of roll through, and now you're getting another one to roll through over there. Maybe a little bit of hail associated with the storm that we're looking at down that way. again, pretty intense thunderstorm. It stretches to the south and west. We've got flood warnings here in Champaign County, flooding ongoing across the area. Still our storm that is back here in Sangamon County, Mechanicsburg, Mount Auburn, Illiopolis. Severe thunderstorm warning continues there with the tornado possible tag associated with it. They did have a report of a funnel cloud, just in a report of a funnel cloud. Bowl-shaped funnel cloud sighted between Divernon and Farmersville, I'm guessing. So let me try to come back here. Vernon, Sangamon County, Farmersville. Okay. When was that? I'm assuming that the report was, because sometimes these can be kind of delayed. That was at 1:50. So yeah, that was 30 minutes ago. That would make sense earlier. We were kind of seeing that, and that's why they eventually did issue that severe thunderstorm warning with a tornado possible tag. Reports of power outages throughout Rossville. Spotters are checking for damage. So there are spotters in Rossville. So we're going to wait to see what they have found over that way. Pouring rain in Tolono. Will Rantoul get another round of storms? It's possible. I hesitate to even pull up what a model is going to show here, but I mean, okay, it's kind of got the general idea. You got scattered storms kind of popped up throughout the area. All along, it's really wanted to still really fire things off later tonight, 6, 7, 8 o'clock tonight, and I don't think that that's completely out of the question. Okay, so I don't think we're done. I think that a lot of it is going to depend upon if we can re-energize the atmosphere again, get that instability to increase once again. But these models have been hinting at this for much of the day, that we might get some stuff here in the afternoon, but there could be some additional development. But did we rob the atmosphere of its dynamics to bring back that second round? We'll see. This model here says, hey, we can refire things again. And there have been some evidence that the atmosphere has been able to recover a little bit more today, even after storms have developed. We saw that in western Illinois. After storms came through in the morning, then we had another little line develop, a little cell there that actually got tornado warned. So I definitely think that we're still under the gun here, at least until after, say, 9 o'clock, for the potential of some of that severe weather to still kind of get going once again. Okay, guys, again, we're reading your responses here and your chats that you may have, any reports that you have. We'd love to hear from you. Pass those along to us and let us know what you're seeing in your area. Right now, it is a lot of heavy rainfall, really kind of messy radar signatures that show some pockets of winds in there that could be bringing 60-mile-an-hour winds. But I think flooding is a big thing right now. We showed you that from Rantoul earlier. Again, in a place that typically does flood, but you just kind of extrapolate that out to other locations where you probably have that same flooding in the areas. Okay. Got a report, thunderstorm wind damage 4 miles east of Rantoul. A tree blown down on 2000 East, just north of Highway 136, just south of Dillsburg. So tree blown down. Let's see, that's going to be 4 miles east of Rantoul. Let's see if we can't bring that back over here. So 4 miles east of Rantoul there. They said that was going to be along just south of Dillsburg, just north of Highway 136. That's going to be kind of this area right through there. So potential some tree damage out that way. How about we look to Jacob and see what he's got out there for us. Jacob, can you hear us? Are you there? What you got? I know you're looking at a storm there. We'll go ahead and throw it to you and let you tell us. Do we have his audio over there?
I was just about to say, I was about to tell him his audio is not on the switcher here, doesn't look like.
I don't see his audio there. We're going to try to get him back. Let's see. We see his picture, but we do not have his audio over there. So
we need
got a shot up, but we're not seeing his audio. So maybe he can mess with that. We're just going to take his picture for right now, and then we'll see if we can get his audio fixed here in just a bit. But that's a shot there. Looks like he's driving there. Rural road there, dark skies. And Maybe he can text us when maybe.
I've got him on my ear too, so I should be able to hear him the second he comes on.
Okay, you just let me know, and then I'll come back to him here in just a second. See if I can kind of tell where he's at. Is that Leverett? Leverett Road? All right, we'll switch off of him and come back in just a little bit. Okay, so still, let's take a look at where we've got the warnings in effect. Our cameras, we're trying to like see things, but there's so much rain, so many storms, and kind of some of those key areas. Let's just do a little bit of a tour here.
We've got Jacob's audio now. Whenever you're,
we got Jacob back. Yep. Okay, we'll come back to the radar tour in a second. That's Jacob, and that's his audio. And here we go, Jacob. What do you got?
Hey, Kevin, just turned on Leverett Road here to the east of the Pilot truck stop on the north side of town. Thought I'd make my way back. It was pretty interesting to see how quickly the flooding seemed to stop when I drove south. For about 2 miles south of Rantoul towards Thomasboro, there's a lot of water in some of those rural roads. Those farm fields had a lot of moving water. Then I got past Thomasboro here to the north side of Champaign, and there's been a little bit, not a whole lot, but we'll make our way back here and make our way south perhaps a little bit. Not quite sure where exactly I'm going to go next, but I thought about maybe South Champaign, see if there's still some flooding problems down there. And we've got that next line of rain coming in from the south there. So that'll be something else that we keep an eye on. 136 definitely had a lot of water over the road east of Rantoul. There were cars turning around. There was the flooding in Rantoul. The rain has let up, but I think there's still going to be a lot of flowing water from those farm fields for a couple hours more probably. A lot of rain, short period of time. The ground can't soak it all, so there's going to be moving water. Remember, if you're out in areas with flooding, you want to avoid those flooded roads. You can't see under them. They could be washed out. I was suspicious there was a culvert that was maybe in some trouble there on 136, but we'll see if the water can drain quick enough before that happens. With that, I may stop here up at, I think I called it a Pilot. It's the Road Ranger. That's my bad. I don't know why I keep thinking it's Pilot, but I thought back in the day maybe this was a Pilot. Anyways, if you're familiar with the Road Ranger truck stop north of Champaign. I'll probably hop back on 57, head back to the south, and see what happens. Live to the StormTracker. I will send it back to you guys in the studio.
Okay, great. Appreciate that report there from the Road Ranger that is over there. I believe that's also the location we had that tornado, right? Back about a year ago, back in March or when that was. Yeah, right. By the Road Ranger. All right, Jacob, thank you for the reports. Always appreciate it. And again, thanks to all of you guys who tune in here to our coverage. I know a lot of you have kind of grown accustomed, or hopefully have. I know a lot of our loyal followers that have been following us for years. They turn here because they know we're going to be here when there is severe weather. We have always kind of provided that, service here and that commitment to you guys that we're going to do that. So we appreciate you guys trusting us, coming to us for those reports and whatnot. And we love to be able to deliver all this information to you the best way that we can. The whole team here, actually the whole team is here. Adam is in here now. He was obviously in here this morning. And so Seth is in here. Jacob's in the StormTracker. I'm here. There's 4 of us on a Friday of a Memorial Day weekend that are here in the studio and covering severe weather for you. When a lot of people may be darting out of town, wanting to get out, we're here delivering that coverage here. So I really appreciate the whole team that is always here to deliver this to you guys when there is that pending severe weather threat, which we have. And we kind of thought this would be the case. So, all right, guys, that's Decatur right now. That is our view in Decatur. I'm just going to kind of do, some weather cameras, tours. So there's Charleston, not much going on over there right now. That's a look in Effingham. That's going to pop up here in a second. We're going to be watching that area. You guys haven't seen much here this evening. So we're going to be watching you guys, possibly some redevelopment here later tonight. That is a look now in the Gibson City area. That's going to pop up. There we go. Again, things are kind of calm up there into portions of Ford County. We can take a look down in Mattoon right now. In Mattoon, things are looking a little stormy there. have some storms around there before too long. Things are beginning to pop up. And again, then back here in Champaign, where, boy, it was coming down for a good period of time, and there's some flooding going on, and there's still a little bit of light rain falling. That's our stadium camera there showing what's going on. Okay, so let's kick you back over to the radar now and let you guys know what's going on with the latest. We'll take you into northern Vermilion County first off. Looks like things calming down in Hoopeston to Rossville, but things still rocking pretty good there. Maybe Potomac to Henning, still some heavier rainfall there. Let's just continue the tour. This is a pretty intense area now that is now kind of south of town, Tolono to Philo. You guys are really getting hit pretty hard with this. Sedora, so right there where the reds, purple colors are associated. Can you put his shot back up in story wall right for me, just so I can see him? Thank you. So you guys may have some hail in there. We're seeing kind of the purple color associated with that. So Sedoris, Ivesdale, Cerro Gordo, you guys are seeing some heavy rainfall there. And then even at the airport there in Decatur, seeing that as well. Over towards Harristown, and then heavy rainfall, Mount Auburn, Mechanicsburg, right there along I-72, a rough go of things for sure in terms of heavy rainfall. And then all of these flash flood warnings that are in effect. You can see Montgomery, Macoupin County, and then of course Champaign County, where the rainfall amounts have been impressive. And that's what I want to do. I'm gonna go ahead and just try to pull up how much rainfall we have had so far and try to get some of the rain totals to show up for us. And that may take a second to populate, so we'll have to wait for that for a second. Jacob is traveling there on the highway, and we're going to be checking in with him here in just a little bit. If we can get his camera back up in story wall right for me here. So there might be a semi-accident. Is that going to be on 57 there? Or so it looks like he may be coming up on something. I'm just going to go and pull up his camera here. Look, I see some flashing lights that are up there. Yeah, he's on 57 North. Looks like he's over there by the construction area there. So he's up there at 57. Is that 54, 57 and 74? It looks like there. So if is he good to talk, or?
Looks like his audio's good.
Okay.
I think he's fine.
Okay. So there he is.
He's shaking his head, yeah.
All right. So Jacob got a viewer picture there. All right. He's coming up to 72 there. You can see state police there as well. Jacob, what have you heard? And you just sent us a viewer picture there of a semi that looked like kind of jackknife. So what have you heard over there, and where are you headed?
Yeah, so earlier, Kevin, when I was on this storm, I got a photo from I-57 north south of 72 that there was a semi that had a jackknife in the rain. And I think that was in the northbound lane. I think those cops are just a speed trap. So Memorial Day weekend, they're out watching for speeders in construction zones. So that's a heads up for that. I don't think that was anything weather related. But around the corner here, we might see that if that scene is still active, a check of traffic earlier told me maybe things had cleared, but we did see that there was at one point a semi who had jackknifed in the rain up here. So just kind of wanted to bring your attention to that. I don't know if that's still there. That was a little while ago, so it may have cleared. But the other thing is more of that rain coming in where we are heading. We're going to head south there towards Curtis Road, maybe make it down to Tolono, kind of see what's going on. I have seen quite a bit of lightning ahead of me as well. There was a flash there. And so I think there's going to be some more heavy rain. I think we got a little break, help drain some of the water in Champaign-Urbana, but probably going to pick up before long here in especially the south side of town and the southern part of the county, where they're already getting a lot of that torrential rain. So with that, Kevin, I'm going to send it back to you. It might be over this bridge.
Okay, sorry about that. Had some issues there with the auto there for a second. But this is that picture there that Jacob was just talking about that was sent into. So I-57 south of I-72 a little bit earlier. We'll see if that's been cleaned up or not. But that was the picture that Jacob did receive from the viewer. So you can see that there. as the storms were coming through, whether that was, associated with a little hydroplaning or if it was some winds, just heavy rainfall. But that was here on the west side of Champaign as the storms were rolling through a little bit earlier. So that's kind of what we are looking at there. Again, that's his view that we can see from I-57.
Yeah, we just got a text from Jacob. He said that it looks all clear to
Okay,
him.
looks all clear?
Yeah.
Okay, so he says it's clear. So they've got that truck off there, so nothing shut down. So that's good. But thunderstorms continue to rock parts of central Illinois here. We are 2:33 p.m. now on this Friday, as many people prepare for the upcoming Memorial Day weekend, and probably curious about, hey, can I get out of town okay? Well, a lot of question marks to that. We do have a new warning that just came out for portions of Scott County here. Looks like a severe thunderstorm warning that has been issued. So it's going to be just west of Morgan County. So there's Jacksonville here. It kind of starts our coverage area. So we'll be watching that cell as those storms kind of come out of St. Louis. As I mentioned, there's other stuff back here to the west that some of the models have been hinting at that they're going to fire off things as we go throughout the course of this evening. So we're not kind of in the clear just yet. Several locations where we can still have severe weather here through tonight. Again, we showed you kind of the model earlier, and I'm just going to do it again. The models have not done great. So basically, they kind of showed, we're going to have these little scattered storms here this afternoon. It doesn't really pick up on that line very well, but it shows additional storms that maybe try to get going here later tonight. It's been kind of showing that a lot over the last several runs, so it's something to kind of keep in mind. But the question is will they be as severe? It's possible, but I think part of the atmosphere has been robbed of some of the moisture and whatnot. So there may be some certain areas that have not been hit, maybe near I-70, that we're going to be concerned about with storms that kind of get going again here tonight. So we're going to watch out for that over the next few hours and see how things kind of evolve. So keep checking back with us. We got the whole team in here. Again, Jacob's out in the StormTracker, and Adam's still here. Seth is here as well. We're going to handle the newscast here for tonight. We're going to be around. Just kind of keep an eye on the radar and keep an eye on these thunderstorms. So right now, if I kind of look at things, this warning for Vermilion County, I mean, essentially the storm has exited the warned area. Just got a report of power out in Newman. Power out in Newman with lots of wind. Let's kind of go down there. So it looks like a storm kind of close to that area. Maybe knocked out some power. And then let's come back over here to Macon County, keeping an eye on things over there. Let's see what we got.
Got a new warning just popped up in Piatt and Champaign County now. Tornado possible tag. Looks like there's
so
light rotation.
There we go. So we got some rotation in on this. It's over Hammond right now. Some rotation that's kind of over Hammond. That's what we're looking at. So this is a new severe thunderstorm warning that just got issued here for portions of Piatt, technically Moultrie, but I'm seeing more of that into Piatt. It's going to be southwest Champaign County there. It does include Monticello. And so if you're in Bement, Ivesdale, be on the lookout as this storm is heading in your direction. There might be some rotation associated with it. Got reports of power lines blown down, power outages in Rossville, so that makes sense. For several reports of that. So they've had power lines blown down. That would be a very equivalent to the radar signature that we're seeing those 60-mile-an-hour winds with. So we are now concerned about this storm that is coming into Piatt County. If you're in Piatt County right now, watching us, if you're over near Hammond, if you're in Bement, there, I would be on the lookout as this storm is starting to intensify a little bit. So along Highway 105, as you go there north out of Hammond, Atwood, you're technically in this. As we're kind of looking at this storm carefully for you. Right here is where you've got possibly some of that rotation on it. Voorhees, west of Atwood, Again, to the north is going to be where this storm is going. It's heading to the north and east, so we kind of put a little bit of a path on this for you, show you the trajectory of this over the last few minutes. And you can see there it is. And notice there was a little bit more of a signature. Here's what I'm going to do to kind of run it back and probably what prompted that warning to come out.
I think Jacob's trying to get our attention here.
We'll get Jacob up here again. So I'll show you again. That was just a little bit ago near Hammond. That's where some of that rotation was. So, all right, let's click back over here to Jacob's camera. Jacob, what did you just come across? What was that there along the side of the road?
So many cars parked under the side of the road. That's just from the heavy rain. Then under the bridge at Monticello Road, there were cars stopping under that. I haven't heard any hail. There are some folks from out of town probably driving the interstate, heavy rain, and they're a little bit worried, and they're stopping in the interstate, the side of the road, and it's just very dangerous. Just a lot of traffic out there, which is something to think about. And even on the interstate exit there, the off-ramp and the on-ramp, semis and cars and folks all parked there trying to avoid the heavy rain that's coming this way. And so I was very interested in that. Now I'm going western Monticello, and I'm going to avoid the interstate at this point. I don't trust them. I don't think people on the roads are aware. They're coming out of the area. So we're going to be kind of taking some of these county roads and state roads here. We're going to head to the west and get a little bit closer to Monticello, probably cut south, maybe towards Sadorus or Ivesdale, maybe. That's kind of my plan right now, to watch that storm as it's moving off to the north here. So with that, I will send it back to you in the StormTracker. I'm Jacob Dickey, back to the studio.
All right, thanks, Jacob. Appreciate the report there again. Yeah, we try to tell people not to, park underneath the overpasses. It can be very dangerous. People try to travel through there, and if there ever was a tornado, it's actually one of the worst places that you could go. So, again, just the public service announcement again. Hey, don't drive through flooded roadways, and then also don't take shelter underneath the underpass, overpass there. This is the storm of concern right now. Severe thunderstorm warning, Champaign, Douglas, Moultrie, Piatt, mainly Piatt County. Radar indicated 60-mile-an-hour winds, 1-inch size hail, and the tornado possible tag. Tornado possible tag means that this storm may show some signs of rotation with it, and you could get a tornado to form. When we look at it in terms of the velocity here, we're looking more at these reds and greens. Pretty broad circulation there. North of Hammond, we'll see what the new update shows. This is going to be heading there probably between Bement, Atwood to Ivesdale, and that general area as it kind of goes right here to the north and east. So we're going to be watching this very carefully as we go throughout the course of the next 15 to 20 minutes or so.
Believe we got a new severe thunderstorm watch populating in here.
Okay, so I've gotten this question a ton from people. They're like, why is there not a watch out? Are they going to issue a watch? Is there a severe thunderstorm watch? Is there any kind of a watch? And it sounds like that they've just issued a new one. I'll let Seth talk about that there.
Yeah, so I'll go ahead and pull up my graphics here. Looks like, I think this is the farthest east extent it goes, and I see that there's two different ones on the screen. In the northeast portion, Fort Iroquois, Benton, I believe that one only goes till 3 p.m., so that's separate from the one we just saw populate in. This new one is going to go until about 9 p.m., it looks like, and it includes several counties west of I-57, so they're also kind of tracking that redevelopment here later on in the evening. So just kind of watching the general vicinity. Doesn't really change much of what we've been saying. We've just been kind of noting that there is potential for that redevelopment here into the evening. But now we kind of have that time frame in mind. Around 9 p.m. is about what we have to watch for the extent of some of these severe storms. So if you're highlighted there in the pink, just kind of be aware of things over the next few hours. That doesn't mean there's anything imminent, but it does mean conditions are kind of lining themselves up to where we're going to need to, like the name says, watch out for some severe storms as we roll on here into the evening. And maybe a few of us already watching for some. But again, that goes until 9 p.m. for those counties highlighted in pink on the left side of the map, not the right side of the map, those in the top right. That only goes until 3 p.m. And again, that's primarily concerning the redevelopment that we're already starting to see in parts out here in the west. We'll go ahead and pop up the radar picture here and see what is going on. And it's a little messy in spots, but you can even see out there to the west parts of Morgan County coming into the maybe Jacksonville area soon. New warnings coming on in. So kind of in the middle of that second wave here this afternoon. as those new storms continue to fire up and kind of pulse up and down here and there. So officially till 9 p.m., that is when the severe thunderstorm watch is going to be in effect here, Kevin.
All right. Appreciate the update there, Seth. Back here on the radar, we're still tracking the severe thunderstorm. I will make mention of a comment that somebody just made on the chat. And Ann says, hey, Kevin, you should see the cicadas in Charleston and Mattoon. They're everywhere now. That rain bringing them out of the ground potentially. She says they are everywhere. And you got that to deal with, right? In some areas, and probably more as we head into the weekend. Again, power out in Rossville. We had some reports of some hail in Urbana earlier, some pea-sized hail in Sullivan. Very brief. There's some hail in Newman. North of Henning has some damage. Barn roof and lots of metal and branches everywhere north of Henning. And that was earlier when we were tracking those storms, and it did look like there was some rotation there. So something that they're going to have to check out potentially. Again, north of Henning, barn roof off, lots of metal and branches everywhere with the storm from a little bit earlier. Again, reports of some flooding in Sangamon County. No surprise there. 2 miles west of New City. So flooding is still an issue. We're still getting reports of this damage. Power lines down from Rossville. So I think between Rossville and Henning, there might have been something suspicious there that I think they're going to have to go and potentially eventually kind of check out. Between Rossville and Henning, power lines down, barn roof off, and a lot of branches everywhere. So that's a report coming into us. We'll see if we can effort any pictures or anything. If anybody's in that area, send us over some pictures. You can send them to weather@wcia.com or any of our Facebook pages or tweet at us. Any of that will work as well.
Kevin, now we've got Seth trying to put in some video we just got from a viewer. Okay. Really right down the street from us. Looks like some heavy ponding, if not some flooding a little bit there, off of what appears to be Rantoul from Springfield, right down the street, literally right down the street from us. Randolph and State. So we've got, there it is, right from Seth. So it's funny, I was just on that road a little bit ago. So
you were driving out in the middle of this stuff earlier, weren't you?
Yeah, it was pretty heavy rainfall. It just started once I was driving down the road, and then as I was on my way back, it wasn't as intense, but no surprises with all the rain we had really quickly that we saw some of that flash flooding and some of that ponding, heavy ponding there on some of the roads out there. There were some steep puddles driving back, I will notice, but nothing like what we saw right there. So thanks for pulling up that there, Seth.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you guys have other pictures and other things, definitely send those over to us, to the team. You can send them to Seth, myself, Adam, Jacob, any of us, or you can just email us, weather@wca.com. We'd love to get any reports and things, especially up near Rossville and Henning. Curious about what may have occurred up there. Something like barn roof off, metal branches down, a lot of power lines down between Rossville and Henning. So curious what you guys are having. And that being said, Stacy brings up a good point. Stacy says if you've got an outage, please be patient. Your Ameren workers or your other power cooperatives out there, the linemen and women out there are doing their best. They're all dealing with the same stuff, and it's going to take some time to get the outages back out. But that's why we're here with you. This is the great thing. Hopefully, you're watching us either on your phone or your iPad or something that you can take with you that, hopefully it's charged and you've got enough power and you can watch the coverage here in case something happens. But I just want to pass that along. That is a good point. I had my own issue yesterday with an outage, non-weather related, but squirrel got up into some of the lines there, took the outage out. Ameren was there, had it fixed in like 30 minutes. It was great. So definitely appreciate all of them. And they're going to be busy because now there are a lot of areas that are dealing with some of this damage here. So we're going to be checking that out. And again, what I can do for you is pull up the Ameren outage map. I'm going to do that now. Fire that up and show you what we've got. And it does show Rossville, a large chunk there. Whenever you see this color here, okay, so here's Rossville. And between Rossville and Henning, or in Hoopston. We click on that. 710 customers without power is what it's actually showing there. You can't see it on the right side of the screen, but that's showing 710 customers that are without power. So something took a hit out there, some major power line damage showing up. Then you see some other sporadic things. So you can kind of see, if you've never been on the Ameren map before, and so you've got the green, then it goes blue, then orange, and then red. And then these here we call multiple, and we kind of zoom in on them. But this is a large one. You get the orange there. That's a lot of customers there. So you got to think about that. That's customers. It's not people. If you say 2 or 3 people per household, then you're talking about 2,000 people there, possibly dealing without any power there. And then other little scattered. Here's Gibson City. There's a few there. Gifford, Armstrong, Thomasboro. There's a few here around Champaign. Not a lot. You get back towards Decatur, and again, there's a couple over there, but you're seeing more of the green. Then you get down here. That's going to be kind of south of our area, but north of I-70 down there, south of Montgomery, Macoupin County, looks at some outages. But when the orange color shows up, something happened. That's 700 customers without power. So between Rossville and Henning, looks like there's probably some damage up there, and we'll wait to hear back and see what we find out about that.
Speaking of power outages there
right.
in DeWitt County there, Kevin, Corn Belt Energy Cooperation is also a spot that we've had some customers, about 614 from them, 4 from Ameren. Just looking at the power outage state area, that USA. But yeah, the other spot there is in DeWitt County. That's another spot that they've seen some there. So I know you were showing Ameren. I just wanted to add the Corn Belt people too as well. Those customers that are involved in that, or those people using that. So 615 from them out in DeWitt County too. We've had a couple sporadic ones there in Douglas County. Right now it looks like there's 145 there in Eastern Illini Electric Cooperative as well. 1 Ameren and 19 Interstar Electric Cooperatives too. Because again, there's so many different groups that have electricity out here. Let's take it down to Montgomery County, another spot that's got a lot of people out. About 66 from MJM. 1 Ameren, 10 Rural Electric Convenience Co-op. So again, some of those other spots that aren't Ameren have also been impacted as well from some of these storms too, Kevin.
Yeah, and so we've got that kind of pulled up there now. And again, like as you were just kind of talking about, so there you are there in DeWitt County. So quite a few there, as you just mentioned. A few there into, definitely DeWitt County, 642. So you got DeWitt County there with the Corn Belt. And then with the Ameren outage map, still showing up there near Rossville, quite a bit in the way of damage. Do we know what Jacob's doing there?
It sounds like he's outside his vehicle. I hear a bunch of shuffling around, so I think he's outside his vehicle at the moment.
Jacob says he's getting off Monticello Road, heading west. That's where he was originally, and then he's taking a break right now on the road right there. So.
Okay, gotcha. I just see a shot there, stopped alongside the road, so I want to make sure everything's good over there. Boy, I got to tell you, it's storming pretty good again in southern Champaign County. Tolono, you guys are getting rocked there from Sedoras to Philo, Tolono, and then eventually Sydney there. That storm there is definitely packing a punch. Goodness.
Just about to say, we've had quite a bit of rain already, and that's a very slow-moving band lifting north. So the places I've already seen flooding are probably going to get a little more rain here over the next hour or two. That thing's moving awfully slow, and it's got nothing but moderate to heavy rain in it. So we're going to have to watch out here right in town again for some more heavy rains piling on top of already the 1 to 2 inches we've already had here in town.
Yeah, that could be an issue there. If that drifts a little bit more to the north, that could be an issue. I'll say that Douglas County, a lot of Douglas County has largely kind of been missed with a lot of this. That's not great news because that means that there's instability. If we get some storms going, Arcola, Hinesboro, Oakland, those things are going to have, the potential to tap into that. But man, it's coming down there just south of Willard Airport between Sedoras and Philo, those areas there. Right now, the severe thunderstorm warning is actually in effect to your west for that cell that was coming out of Piatt County. So you've got portions of Piatt County still under that warning for that rotation earlier. I don't see the rotation, but I once actually did see a little bit earlier. Hey, will you guys do me a favor? Now that they're kind of done with the recordings, will you throw back in the monitor the
R switcher,
R switcher stuff, so I can see it.
There you go.
Perfect. Thank you. Okay. Still looking at you guys' reports and chats here. Let us know what you're seeing in your area. Jacob is out there.
Jacob just said he's cutting back to the east.
Okay, coming back to the east. So there's Jacob's camera there. We're going to be monitoring him. We'll check back with him here in a little bit. Coming down pretty good into Lono. Flash flood warning coming out here for more locations.
Looks like we got a new severe warning about to pop in. Vermilion and Champaign, I believe it said.
Okay, so they went ahead. Oh, wow, that's a huge one. So they just went ahead. They covered the whole thing. No surprising, but there's a lot going on. So basically, it does include Champaign. Right now, the worst of it is kind of just south. But this new warning obviously includes Tolono, Sodoris, Philo, Homer, St. Joe, heads into Vermilion County, heads into Danville, Westville. I mean, this is a huge warning. I'm just going to click back onto it just to show you the warning itself. Well, we've got the flash flood. So now we're overlapping flash flood warnings with the severe thunderstorm warnings here. Let me see if I can't just take those off just for a second, just so you can kind of see what we've got. And you may notice, so you've got severe thunderstorm warning here, all stretching from Pike County all the way now through Champaign and Vermilion County. This is the new warning in effect. And I'll just zoom in a little closer so you can kind of see more of the towns that populate so you know if you are under that warning or not. So your phone may be going off with those warnings. So definitely Sydney, St. Joe, kind of the northern edge is going to be Royal, Collison, Bismarck. You barely kind of clips Potomac there, but then you stretch down towards obviously Danville and Georgetown, Jamaica. Side to all of you guys, the Broadlands area, all under this new severe thunderstorm warning. So that's what we've got there. Yeah, that's a strong storm Philo right now. We're getting some heavier indications that maybe some heavier rain, maybe some small hail. Anytime I see the purple color there, that is sometimes a red flag. Say, there might be some hail. Tolono, reports a lot of standing water in Tolono right now. A lot of water there coming down. Pretty windy and dark in Tuscola. You guys have storms to your north. But yes, once again, your weather radio may be going off. Your cell phone may be alerting you that there are some warnings in the area, and you can see what we've got here. So the warning that was back here in Pike County, I'm not seeing as much earlier, so that's going to be allowed to expire. When we take a look at and what we have to do here is these storms are kind of evolving quick. They're spinning up. We'll throw some winds in there real quick. And so we got to just kind of keep looking at the velocity to look at the winds here. And we try to look for some of the brighter colors. I've got a little area there just south of Willard Airport, actually. The pink color there, Tolono. You've got some winds. We're also going to start to look for these areas where the reds and greens may get close to one another, which indicates some rotation in there. They did not put the tornado possible tag on this. This is just general severe thunderstorm warnings, but again, kind of has my interest here peaked just with that potential where the storms still have, especially, listen, if these get down here into Douglas County here, there's still some decent instability for these storms to tap into. I'm just kind of looking at things off on another computer here. There's a lot of instability, Douglas, Coles, Edgar County, for these storms to feed into. So that's an area that largely is not seeing a whole lot yet. So I want you guys to just be on alert. If we do start to get some of these storms to fire off, then that could be a little bit of an issue. Some of you also may have got your weather call. That's right, weather call, which is our new service that we launched over a month ago. Going strong here. We've got a lot of subscribers to that. Literally, you have gotten a phone call from us. And actually, let me see if I can't, I don't know if mine will pull up or not, or if it left the voicemail. All right, so this is what you would have received. Okay, I'm going to try to.
We recommend seeking shelter in a sturdy building and staying away from windows. This message comes from Weather Call Next Gen and WCIA3. If you'd like to hear this message,
so that was the voicemail that got left on my phone. So it calls you. We call you, literally call you in the event of a warning, a severe thunderstorm warning or tornado warning. So it's different from the weather radios. It's different from your weather app. You could get a phone call to your landline phone, and I know some of you out there going, what's a landline phone? Those are still a thing. They've not gone to the wayside like payphones have, but landline phones, and some people have those. Especially in the rural areas where cell phone connections aren't as good, they got to have the landline phones. So some people want that. We have a service called Weather Call that you can sign up for. That literally we will give you a call in the event that there is severe weather in your area. So it's very simple as to how it works. And so if you're in the tornado warning or the severe thunderstorm warning area, you get the phone call. If you're not, you don't get the phone call. It's pretty simple. You can sign up on our website, WCA.com. Under the weather tab, there's going to be something that says sign up for Weather Call, where you can scan that QR code as well. That's one of the many different ways to sign up for that. So I know we've got a lot of you watching us here this afternoon. And so if you want to take that time to sign up, go do that. Small fee to get you through the whole year. And you'll get calls from us middle of the night, 2 o'clock in the morning, out on the lake, wherever you are. And so it's a great feature and a great service that we've launched here. Severe thunderstorm warning, an intense cell over Sydney, over Philo, over Tolono, really heavy rainfall that continues to come down there. Again, we're hearing about some intense rainfall totals. Can you work on, can you throw up maybe some of the rainfall there again?
Yep.
Query some of those amounts there down near Tolono. With that, I'm going to switch over to your stuff.
1-7 here. If
Okay,
you can.
I got you.
Cool.
And so there we go.
Perfect.
Talk. So if you can query some of those totals there down that way, because we're getting some reports that the water down there is quite a bit.
Yeah, doesn't look like it matters what side of Tolono you're on. The west side there in particular, that's where that 3.1 is, kind of that blob of yellow. That's where the 3+ inches are. And then even just there in downtown is at least 2 inches. And this is, it says 3-hour rainfall totals. We kind of had one round move in there right around 2 o'clock-ish, maybe closer to 1 o'clock, but now kind of got that next band moving on in. So we are adding on to that total. That 3 inches right now is probably going to get closer to 4, or probably even beyond that by the time this band moves on out. But even just on the north side of Champaign, closer to Rantoul, halfway between Rantoul and Champaign, you are also up to 3 inches. Thankfully, don't think there's much going on right up that direction at this moment. Nothing intense anyway yet. But yeah, this is there's a reason why the whole northern 2/3 of Champaign County is under a flash flood warning, even overlapping flash flood warnings, because there is a lot of water falling down right now. And I've been keeping my eye on the Memorial Stadium camera looking to the south. It doesn't look like it's too bad here in town just yet, but looking off to the south, your visibility drops off pretty quickly. And that, of course, is looking out towards Pasodum and the Tolono area. So we'll get that to pop up here. You can see there in the distance across the fields, we are not able to see too much in that direction, despite it not raining too terribly hard right outside Champaign right now. Down there closer to Tolono, probably still getting lots and lots of rain, and not just this light stuff either. It's this moderate to heavy stuff that is not likely to move along very quickly at all, as we'll zoom in here in just a moment. So like you just saw, we've got 2 to 3 inches right there in Tolono, and we've got this kind of mass of kind of showers and storms continuing just to float over the top of you, even down into southeast Champaign County right now. So lots and lots of water already piled up. Probably going to add on a little bit to that here as this band kind of moves on through. Looks like it's a little weaker there in Tolono, starting to get some green and yellow to pop in as opposed to oranges and reds. But yeah, definitely be ready here for the next couple of hours. Hopefully you don't have to go too far, because these roads are probably not going to be in terrific shape here for the next couple of hours before we can finally get some stuff to drain. So already 3 inches across much of the Tolono region, and probably going to continue to tack onto that over the next hour, Kevin.
All right, perfect. Thank you for those updates.
We also just got a new severe thunderstorm warning for Morgan County there as well, on the other side of the viewing area. Just want to throw that out there. It just came up over the wire.
Adam, thank you. Yep, there you go. That's going to be coming into Morgan County there. There it is, over towards Root House, and going to be heading there into western portions of Morgan County, just south of Jacksonville. Looks like a pretty intense area there where the hail might be, heavy rainfall there, and some gusty winds. So we're seeing these other little cells develop back here. We have multiple areas that we've got the flash flood warnings. We've got flash flood warnings everywhere, all along that line. And then again, you can see on the radar here where it is still coming down. I know we're going to be checking in with Jacob here in just a little bit, because I think he's going to be coming into the Tolono area. We've continued to get reports of a lot of heavy rainfall there. It's still coming down hard in Tolono. My yard is flooded, says Brittany. And let's just kind of look at it. We'll come back down here. There it is, still raining there. Philo, you guys are also still seeing that heavy rainfall for too long. You know, you've got Posodum there. There's our favorite town in Douglas County, Chicken Bristle, catching some of that heavy rainfall. I believe, yeah, so there's Jacob. He is, okay, I think he's on Monticello or Airport Road there. And so he'll be coming to Tolono here in just a little bit. That's his shot. We'll check in with him when he comes into town in just a little bit. But there he is. He gives us the wave. And so we'll watch him as he travels off there to the east. And we'll be hitting 45 there and heading into Tolono here in just a few moments. But it is coming down there between St. Joe, Sydney, Philo, Homer, those areas. Heavy rainfall, Fithian, and into Vermilion County. Again, you guys are all still under a severe thunderstorm warning. That is still in effect for the potential of 60-mile-an-hour winds or some quarter-size hail, and obviously the flooding aspect. I just want to look at the velocity here. I don't see any, and again, we look for these brighter colors. The brighter greens or the reds show us really strong winds. Generally, I'm looking at, some 40, 45-mile-an-hour gusts. There might be some small hail in there, but I got to tell you, the water with these, we're just wringing out the atmosphere. We're just dumping the rainfall across the region, and they're slow movers. So typically, you get a storm here in Illinois, and they move 45, 50 miles an hour, and so they kick along. They're going to like 20, 25 miles an hour, and they're not moving a whole lot, so that's a lot of time. You get an inch and a half per hour rate of rainfall. Ground can't handle it. This is not going to happen, okay? And so you hit the runoff, the water comes up, it's not soaking all the way down through the ground. You get into more areas where there's concrete around and whatnot, and you're not going to obviously get that to soak through. And so you get the runoff, you get the flooding that can occur. So be careful out there. And it sounds like Tolono definitely got still quite a bit of rain. All right, so Anna here says roof flew off our duck coop west of Potomac. I don't know if she means like ducks. Maybe.
Yeah, I think it's their ducks. Yeah,
ducks. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. There we go.
Chicken coop, but with ducks.
Chicken coop with ducks.
Yes.
Okay. Yes. There we go. All right. Very good. Not as familiar. Let's see here. Moderate rain coming down in Danville. Clouds south and west of Georgetown have a greenish tint to them. Zachary with that greenish tint. Zachary, there might be some hail in there. Anytime that sky starts to become a little green, that's indicative that there's going to be hail potentially. It's the light kind of shining through the hail objects getting refracted, and actually puts off a greenish tint when it comes out. So it gives the sky a color of green when there is hail. So there might be some hail down that way. So I'm looking at the radar here. Don't see a whole lot. Again, I think an area that we're going to want to check out here. I don't know if is our new. What's the news crews up to? Do we got anybody that's maybe?
We've got Jack. Headed out towards either Tolono or Newman. I've sent a list of places to send out for our reporters.
Definitely send them to Rossville hitting. I think we had something happen there.
Okay.
So, let's definitely get somebody up that way.
Okay.
So please, if you can, reiterate that to the newsroom that we kind of we want Rossville hitting area, because obviously there's 700 people without power. Power lines are down. There's a barn roof that's off there. So, and we haven't. Surprisingly, we haven't got any pictures from anybody. I know people are probably dealing with the mess that's there, but if we get it, they're going to let you know. We want to send a team out there to check that out. So I know we've got Jacob that's coming into Tolono now. So I'm just going to go ahead and pop his camera up. We'll turn his microphone on, and then let him talk and let us know what he's seeing in his area. So, Jacob, take it away.
Hey, how we doing? Can you hear me just fine? Hear me okay? Cool. So coming into Tolono now, and I'll turn the camera going south on 45. I'll tell you what, coming on Monticello Road, looking to the south, there's going to be a lot of farmers who probably aren't happy A lot of standing water in fields and a lot of moving water as well. Going to be some flash flooding continuing here. The rain's still coming down pretty good clip. Maybe not as heavy as earlier, but we're going to just have to watch things here. We're going to kind of come into Tolono. Suspicious about the Norfolk Southern Rail Bridge viaduct to the south side of town. Maybe that's been able to be okay, but I bet you there's some flooding at some of those country roads and things of that. The other thing is I drove over 57, and man, there's just a ton of traffic coming through the area. Lots of folks on the move for Memorial Day weekend here, and coming through Central Illinois. It was pretty slow traffic. Not stop and go, but certainly folks are slowed down from the rain. A lot of folks even now here as I'm driving south on 45. That's certainly the case where a lot of folks are moving and whatnot. So we are going to continue to drive to the south here into Tolono. Looks like the lights are on. I really haven't seen a whole lot of wind from my location. I really haven't seen much hail since I was up in northern Champaign County. There may be a little bit, but I really think the flooding threat's going to take off here and continue to be the biggest issue for us, especially with perhaps another round of rain starting to sneak its way in our direction as we look kind of the back edge of Decatur, and then more storms there towards the west and south and west of Springfield. So that's maybe my biggest concern, Kevin and company back at the station, is that this could be a flooding issue for us and whatnot. Some other notes about
Jacob,
Rossville area. I did just see there's reported some power lines down.
I kind of have to make the joke there. That guy's got a boat in front of you there. He kind of needs that right now, doesn't he?
That's true. Yeah, you're right. There's a boat in front of me here. What a rather headed, to be honest. Southern Illinois, maybe one of the lakes down there. So who knows? But that boat not used right now yet. But I'm sure there's a few folks around here that are looking at their boats and thinking, that water keeps coming up. But hopefully we don't have to deal with issues quite like that. Other than that, I think my ClearCom went down on me here. So I've lost hearing you, but we're going to come through the viaduct here and kind of position south of town. We might sneak down towards Minnesota. If you think that it's worth me heading back towards Rossville, Henning, I saw that there was a report of some lines down in Rossville that just came in. Let me know if what you want me to do. Give me a clue what you think I should be heading to next. Yeah, viaduct here is dry for whatever reason. A little bit of water, but the one in Rantoul sure took on that water quick, and we're getting some rain in this area still for the next hour or two at least. So with that, live in the Tolono area, I'm Jacob Dickey. I'll send it back to you.
Okay, thank you, Jacob. Appreciate that. We'll check back in there with you in a little bit. And just for your report there, Jacob, we are sending one of our reporters to Rossville, Henning for right now. So they're going to send them up that way. So if you want to just hang back here and continue to track things for us before we totally just say send you up that way, we are sending a reporter. So so hopefully we'll get some information from there.
I do have a pair of photos I can share here. I'm working on getting a video that someone sent in, but these are just from some of the earlier storms. I'll go ahead and flip things on here. This was on Newman. This was on South Broadway there in town. Samantha sent in what appears to be a medium-sized tree over the road there. So some windy storms earlier, likely knocking that one down. Along with that picture, but not featured in here, was about quarter-size hail. So clearly something of severe status blew through there. And also, this was Mary's driveway. This was between, I believe, the Fisher and Muhammad area, completely underwater there, at least part of the driveway. And you can tell it's kind of a low-lying driveway the way it is, probably just a little bit of a gravel thing. But probably, it's hard to tell how deep that is, of course, but plenty of that action going on there, especially in the low-lying areas, and see some mud there on the sides. Probably a pretty tricky situation to get out of the driveway there. I also have a video I am trying to upload into the system here, but it was of a storm, I believe, just outside of Newman as well, and someone's porch swing was going for a ride there. It was not shown blowing off, but I was told eventually it did come off once they stopped recording. So I'm working on getting that one right now. But that's what we've got here as far as pictures to share at the moment.
Okay, perfect. Appreciate the updates there and the reports. Just got to give a heads up to my friends and family over in Indiana. You guys over there in the old stomping grounds of Vermilion and Fountain County, Park County over there, you guys have severe thunderstorm warnings. Storms coming your way over there, because I know some of you still watch us from over that way. So still pretty intense storm here. This thing is still packing a punch in Champaign County into Vermilion County. Boy, you guys have been kind of the ground zero for these storms here this afternoon, and just one after the other, and just heavy round after heavy round of rain. So you've got the storms there along I-57 stretching over there, and you get little pockets here. There's a little line. Here's a little line of storms. Here's one. There's another one over there. So it's just one after another that we're dealing with in terms of this, and that's causing issues with the flooding. 2-3 inches of rainfall here is what we're getting. We're also got a report that fallen trees in Rossville was the issue there. That's causing some of the power outages over that way. Some thunderstorm wind damage again there, like you said there from Newman that we got. We had the picture out there. Flash flooding.
Kevin, we've got an update from the newsroom.
Okay.
They are sending over one of our reporters to the Rossville area, the Rossville Henning area.
Yeah.
So that's our game plan as of right now.
Okay, yeah, sending over one of the reporters here in Rossville, Henning area. Check that out. Let's see. I'm just kind of going back through some of these reports. The public reported the barn roof blown off, along with lots of tree branches down in Henning, 2 miles north of Henning. Tree branches down in Bement as the storm came through. Flooding of fields, standing water there in Bement. All of those reports continue to come into us here as well. So that's what we've got here ongoing with these storms that continue to move through. The severe thunderstorm warning continues. Vermilion, Champaign County. Anytime we start to get a few breaks in that, I don't like to see that because sometimes that can enhance some of the rotation in there. And this is kind of what I'm talking about. We're going to kind of watch these areas because suddenly some rotation can occur. That's over there east of Tolono between Philo. Crittenden, seeing that as well. So we're going to just kind of watch that. That storm is still delivering blow after blow of heavy, heavy rainfall rolling through. Okay, so I believe that we've got the video. Seth, I'll let you talk about swinging in the rain.
Yeah, Deb sent this one, and this is north of Newman. This would have been I'd say about 15 or 20 minutes ago is when she posted. But yeah, that swing going for a ride, and she commented on there, eventually blew down. I assume she means the swing. Tree looks a little big. I hope the tree didn't come down, but probably the swing came falling down there at some point. But some pretty intense wind and plenty of heavy rain there. So this kind of goes to show you, if you'll have a couple things outside, that is what Mother Nature is going to do to it, have it toss around. Good thing it was anchored into the tree, so hopefully it's still somewhere nearby. But yeah, that is exactly what you can expect out of anything that's kind of just loosely hanging outside when you get 60+ mile-an-hour winds to blow into town.
Yeah, how about that? Those patio umbrellas, man, they go for a ride too. You got to be careful of those. Let's see here. We got Jacob again. Let's go back over to Jacob's camera. He's got some flooding there as well. Jacob, audio is up. Talk to us. What do you got?
Yeah, hey, I'm on Sedoris Road, about 2 miles west of 45 here. Some of these side roads are just underwater here. And the wind blowing across them, Ken, if you've ever been in a tropical system or a storm coming over the water, it just looks like that. A lot of rain curtains blowing over the water. It looks like maybe a little small hail. Can't quite tell, but mainly it's a lot of heavy rain and some blustery winds that are here. They're probably not much more than 40 miles an hour, but certainly some blowing rain out here, all this water. One of the issues is your visibility is going to be reduced. And if you're not aware of it, or you're driving at normal speed, you may come across one of these spots like I have here where there's a road and then there's water. And if you hit one of those, that can be a really dangerous thing for us. So again, it's about just south of that, where that main heavy 3 to 4 inch rain amounts showed up. And the road behind me is covered in water as well. So I'm going to have to turn back to the east to kind of avoid it here and get back to the Highway 45 corridor. So yeah, flooding, it's going to be a problem. I think the big thing is if folks are heading out, you just want to be aware. There's going to be a lot of flooding on some of these side country roads. There'll be some flooding even on some main roads. The key here is you got to slow down in the heavy rain. You got to be aware of some of that water. And yeah, seeing much the same here to my north. I'll kind of do a U-ey here. No, it's coming, but we'll flip back around to the north, and you can see that whole field there in front of me is just submerged in water and some of that wind-blown rain here. So yeah, it's wet, it's raining, it's flooding out here in southern Champaign County now. Earlier, it was the northern part of the counties. Now it is the southern part of the county getting the brunt of this. Kevin, back to you.
All right. Thank you, Jacob. Appreciate the report there. As always, giving you the pictures, showing you what's happening on the ground. Eyes out in the field. Okay? Showing you what's going on. We love it. The whole team is here. Got Seth over here. Got Adam over here. Here we are, 3:17 p.m. On a Friday before a Memorial Day weekend, and all four of us dedicated here to bring you guys the latest on the severe weather coverage and keeping you informed here. Boy, it's storming pretty good there now over towards Georgetown, it looks like, north of Georgetown. And then we've got these other little pockets here. You just get some of that heavy rainfall. Jacob was kind of, making a comparison to like a tropical system there. It almost seems like, we're just ringing out the atmosphere here, and you get these kind of waves, these bands that move across. You get one, then you get another, then you get another. And so we're definitely seeing that here. Definitely want to be keeping an eye on our storms, just as they start to take on a little bit more of this shape. But I've said this a few times, but I just, this area into Douglas, Coles, Edgar County, you guys have not seen a whole lot. If some storms can get going in your area, a little concerned about what they may be able to tap into in that area. As I look off screen here at another one of the products that we look at, and the instability levels are very high in Charleston and Kansas and Paris and Marshall, that area over there. So if any of these storms can get going, I think that's going to be kind of our next area of concern. We're going to watch these storms coming out of, the St. Louis area. Over here into Morgan County, we've still got severe thunderstorm warnings. How do they handle coming into Shelby County, Moultrie County that way? So while some of you have not received a ton of damage yet, and I'm just going to go back to Jacob's camera here real quick because he's got a nice shot there of some of that flooding. This is that example of the water kind of coming out of the fields over the roadway there. As you can see, and as you mentioned, farmers are not going to be happy. Water sweeping things away, and it's been a rough go for the farmers here in May. One of the wetter springs we've had here. This May has been really wet, and so that's going to cause them some issues. For them, tough go of things, and you can see that water going across from one field to the next, and flooded roads there as well. Again, so this is over there just outside of Tolono with Jacob's shot there in the StormTracker. We will bring things back on here to us with the radar, show you the storms that continue to pound parts of Champaign and Vermilion County. Just going to read some of your comments over here while we have the opportunity. Power was flickering in Ridge Farm, St. Joe, crazy wind. Let's see here. Chris, yeah. Was thanking me for coming to see that tree damage the other night, which seems like a week ago. We had storms Tuesday night. I think those up there in Rantoul. So yeah, Chris, thanks for letting us know you had that. Pouring in Georgetown, Westville, heavy lightning. Wind picking up in Leroy, some hail in Catlin, Thomasboro, heavy rainfall, bad wind, a little bit of hail in Catlin. Fields have so much water. Yep, as we were just showing there. A lot of lightning and thunder. Westville. No, there's no tornado tag with any of this. Hoopston's back to normal from the first round. Had high wind and heavy rainfall. The sirens did go off. We did get that report. Just getting some reports of some hail in Danville. Lightning bad south of Westville. Raining hard in Fairland. Is Rantoul in the clear for the day? Nope, I wouldn't say anybody's in the clear yet. Hailing in Westville. Hail in Westville. Super windy here in Tilton. Starting to hail. Hail in Westville. Okay, that makes sense. Look at this on radar. Okay. That little purple color there that just kind of passed through, that was your hail. So hail there in Westville. Let us know what size of hail, maybe when it's safe to do so. Is it bigger than quarter size hail? Let us know. Lights flickering, possibly there in Danville. Danville's getting rocked pretty good. Why don't we see if we can't pull up our Danville camera for you? And that's Champaign. This is going to be Danville now. Ooh, there you go. There's the storm over Danville. Some flashes of lightning there. You can obviously see the heavy rainfall that continues to move through the area there. see here, just getting some of your reports. You guys are doing great. Thanks for your reports coming into us. Let's see here. Just drove through Champaign and Tuscola. That was horrible. Pulled off multiple times due to car blowing everywhere. Could barely see through the blowing rain, says Sammy. Pouring heavy rain south of Danville Tilton area. Rain was blowing in rotation all directions near Toyota. Smaller than quarter size hail, says Derek. Pea size. No power in Rossville. Belgium is getting dumped on. Rain and thunder. North Springfield, heavy rain in Danville. Looks like fog across the street from heavy rainfall. These are your comments, your reports coming into us. That is the view from our camera. It's the best view that we can give you there in Danville of the storm that is rolling through. A lot of lightning there. We're being told there by many people who are out there. Philo is super flooded. All right, Aaron says he's got a ruler, so he's going to let us know when it's not too dangerous if there's any measurable hail. We appreciate that. Measuring the hail is great, or comparing it to an object is what we'd love for you guys to do for us. Lightning, Georgetown, not sure if that's good or bad. Or lightning up, sorry. Lightning up in Georgetown. There we go. So we'll kick things back over to the radar. Again, here in a little bit, we got our newscast at 4 o'clock. Which we will transition to. And so Seth will be giving some of the weather here for that. And we're still going to be kind of standing by. Who knows? We may have to break in and just do weather coverage there, especially if these storms turn tornadic right now. Just severe thunderstorm warnings. But, boy, there's still a lot. We've got kind of 2 areas here. If we kind of look at this map. We've got the one here in Champaign-Vermilion County, okay? And then there's another one here west of I-55. I'm going to pull up Jacob's camera here real quick. I see Jacob. We've got a flooded road there. And here comes another one of the trucks kind of coming through there where he's been kind of stationed there watching as the storms have brought some of that heavy rainfall over around the Tolono area. You can see just how deep that is. That's a big truck there. And you can see that water, kicking up there to the mid kind of part of the wheels. Careful out there, guys, with these flooded roads. But again, as I mentioned, we kind of got 2 areas. This one here, Champaign-Vermilion County right now, there's a little bit of a break in between. Not as much there, towards, Decatur and Christian County. Then we get the second wave that's out here. So what is this one going to do? That's the million-dollar question. How does this go? What are these little guys that are starting to fire up here? West of Peoria, there's a couple little cells. What are those going to do? Does the atmosphere recharge itself? Can there still be some additional storms? I think it's possible. The models have kind of said all along that we may have storms into tonight, so we don't want to let our guards down yet. And then you've got this area down here that I have said all along where you've not had hardly anything down into even Douglas, especially southern Douglas, Coles, Edgar County, Clark, Cumberland, Shelby counties. It's been pretty calm in your area there. So we're going to watch and see how all of this evolves over the next few hours. Severe thunderstorms continue to rock parts of Champaign and Vermilion County. Heavy rainfall, a little bit of hail in there possible. Looks like it's storming pretty good there. Still in Philo, where I'm sure it is a mess of water and flooded roads over that way. Hailing now by the landfill in Tilton is a report we got in. Very loud in West Danville, starting to thunder in Hoopston. Sort of the weirdest thunder in Oakwood. Sounded like gunshots. Lightning, thunder, a lot of wind in Muncie, Illinois. Hailing in Danville. Tuscola seems to be out of the rain. A sprinkle, but nothing big. Just wait. You might get your storms later. Lightning and thunder in Georgetown. Rain seems to have let up at the present time. These are your storms. Let's just put a little bit of a loop on this over the last 3 hours. And then look at these areas here that have just been getting pounded by rainfall over and over, especially here into kind of southern portions of Champaign County. I mean, raining for, almost a couple hours now. So this is the 3-hour loop. And you can see some areas I've seen rain close to the entire time, even into Piatt County there. So, boy, those rivers, creeks, and streams are going to continue to be coming up as a result of all of this rain. And we're not done just yet. Here again is a look at the warnings. And what I'll do is here, I've got the flash flood warning. We'll just show you the flash flood warnings here. So you've got 3/4 of Vermilion County, 9/10 of Champaign County, parts of half of Southern Piatt, Macon, Northern Christian, Sangamon, Montgomery, Macoupin. So that whole area there, flash flood warnings. So that's a huge area where the rain has just been pounding one after another. Where we've got severe thunderstorm warnings, that's still Vermilion, Champaign County, and then back out to the west into Morgan County, where those storms have been coming through. So that's kind of what we've got here. The flooding continues, the severe weather threat not done yet. Additional storms may still fire off. I wasn't able to get hail measurement in Westville because it's melting and the torrential rain after hitting the ground, says Aaron. Well, thank you for attempting. I appreciate that. Probably, I mean, I'm going to guess it was probably, some nickel-size hail there as well. So that's what we've got here, guys. Coming up here on about 3:30, just before 3:30, as storms continue to move across the area. See if we've got any other reports coming into us here. Road closure due to flooding at 900 north and 1000 east, 2 miles northwest of Tolono. No surprise, a lot of those county roads probably have that. Let's see. Road impassable due to flooding, 800 north and 1000 east and 1100 east. I'm pretty sure that's probably where Jacob was probably at, where some of those roads were. Getting some pea-sized hail reported out of Oakwood here in the last few minutes. And yeah, I think that, that I-70 corridor here, that largely has been untouched here tonight. So essentially, you haven't had hardly anything kind of down this way. So I think this area here tonight, still through this evening, going to have that potential for storms to fire off down in this area here, especially if this activity starts to want to kind of meander more into that where that instability axis is. And that is located into portions of, well, actually, here's what I can do. I can show it to you. Let me go ahead and pull this up. So we're going to pull up another little product here. Let me fire that up. And I'm going to shut off all the craziness that is on here for now. Let's shut off the warnings, just so you can kind of see it. So we're looking at some of the colors here. So you get some of these red colors, and that's your instability that's here. And so that's actually a pretty decent, and I know it's kind of tough to see. I wonder if I can take that full. Do I have max? Can I have max 2 and 7 there?
Yep.
Okay, there we go. So what you're looking at there, essentially, these areas here where we're looking at instability. Notice how it's this kind of yellow color here is the lower levels. The oranges, that's higher. Then you get the reds, that's even higher. Purples, look at the purples out there. That's instability. That's fuel for storms to feed off of. Now you lose instability when you get the storms kind of come through. You take away some of the heating there. But these areas in Douglas County and in Edgar County, in Coles County, Clark, Cumberland County, there's still a lot of instability for the storms to tap into. So that's something that we will watch. That means basically that we can get more storms to fire off when they get into that atmosphere to take advantage of that under or not worked over atmosphere, so to speak. It is raining pretty good down near Broadlands and Allerton, Homer, Fairmount, Westfield to Georgetown. Just a ton of activity still showing up. I don't know if we can. Seem to be having some issues with the lightning showing up, so I can't show the lightning, but I can tell you that there is quite a bit of it out there, according to our reports from many of our viewers here this afternoon. And the heavy rainfall, over 2, 3, and maybe 3 inches of rain that has been falling here throughout the course of this afternoon. And these storms just kind of hanging right there along I-74 and I-72 for much of this afternoon. We had what's called an outflow boundary that kind of set up. And that was from earlier storms that kind of formed to our north, kind of weakened out a little bit there, left a little bit of a boundary there. And sometimes that can allow for storms to fire up. As somebody makes the comment, it's like a monsoon out there, and it really is. You kind of just keep getting the same areas getting hit by these storms over and over and over again. Should this all be through Southern Vermilion County by 6? Grandkids got a ball game in Westville. I don't know about that. I'm going to guess that field is not going to be in playable shape. I don't know that they have the tarps in the old Little League. Do they? And maybe something's changed, but I don't know. I'm going to say that field is not going to be in prime time shape.
I'm willing to guess. I don't know. Even if there was a tarp, I don't know. It'd be iffy if there was some rain on there.
More of a slip and slide at that point.
Yeah, I mean, an interesting game to watch for sure. You'd be doing some laundry for days with getting the mud out of there. So I don't know about that game there, Jerry Lee. Probably going to miss out on that one. Let's see here. Calming down in Westville. Fairmount lost power for a minute. Are there any tornado warnings out? No, Chris, there are no tornado warnings. There are no tornado warnings. None. As a matter of fact, there are no tornado warnings in the entire country right now, which over the last several days, I feel like in the afternoon, there's been tornado warnings everywhere, or somewhere, I should say. But you can see the wider view. It's going to show you. You can kind of see the wide view. There are severe thunderstorms in Texas and in Mississippi and Alabama and Georgia and South Carolina and North Carolina and Missouri and Indiana, and obviously right here in Illinois as well. Again, 2 separate areas that we're watching at this time. So we've got this area out here to the west of I-55 that continues to bring some heavy rainfall and possibly some gusty winds or hail to places in Morgan County. Large break in between. Still maybe a shower or two, but as far as the real storminess, then you get over into eastern Champaign and Vermilion counties, and then over into Indiana, where the severe weather continues out that way. Storming pretty good in Danville. Let's go ahead and fire up our weather camera there again. And Danville. There it is. It actually looks a little bit calmer than what it was a little bit earlier. Let's see. Do we have any other cameras that would show anything good? We'll bring up Springfield for now. We're going to be looking at, there's some storms south and west of Springfield, but we'll keep an eye on there. And how about the rest of tonight? Seth, you've been working on the forecast or anything here for tonight? Or
yeah, just been looking at some stuff. I mean, similar to what you've been saying at the same time too. It's, it's kind of tricky. The models haven't done fantastic today. You kind of just got to look and see where things are and just kind of predict based on that. But yeah, we're kind of seeing the same thing we've seen the whole time. Models continue to kind of pump storms like the way we've seen here for the next several hours into the night. Like we said, that severe thunderstorm watch until 9 p.m. See if that takes any sort of extension, or maybe they trim it sooner, just depending on how things play out. Just kind of a guessing game at this point. But it looks like stuff's going to continue to populate in from the southwest. We'll see to what strength, to what kind of widespread degree that is. But yeah, got a little tricky thing to watch here. Just got to kind of pay attention to these small scale features as we move forward in time. I do want to bring up something. I put a post on my Facebook there just to see if anybody has any reports of damage. One of my neighbors who knows quite a few people says they heard there was some major flooding in Litchfield. That was all the details I got. I'm trying to learn some more about that, but there's been plenty of rain down that direction. So she says she has heard there was some major flooding in Litchfield. I'll have to work to get a little info on that, but just kind of something to keep in the back of our mind on top of the rain that we're also seeing here all over Champaign County. I actually had the 3-hour rainfall graphic up not too long ago, and it had pretty close to 2 inches countywide here in Champaign. So watching the rain, the flood, definitely a big concern, but not quite out of the woods when it comes to severe weather like strong winds, maybe some of that quarter-size hail too. So obviously something to pay attention to moving forward as well. And what I'm going to do real quick, Kevin, I'm just going to steal the screen for just a moment and put up that rainfall graphic here real fast just to show, pretty much all the county there. Anywhere you see kind of the light green, that's close to about 1.5 inches there, and lots of places getting close to 3 inches. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to throw out that Tolona one and put in a new question there, because that's an orange spot, and that's likely to be upwards of 3 inches, right at 3 inches there. So definitely getting hit here in Champaign, but I'm also going to look real quick over there towards the Litchfield area just to kind of see what kind of rainfall they've had to contend with.
Jacob said that he might have gotten a photo of the hospital flooding.
Okay, interesting. I heard him say that in my ear a moment ago.
Hospital? Wow, look at that. Yeah, that's that orange. That's 4 inches.
Litchfield, right? 4 inches. Yeah, so definitely.
It wouldn't surprise me considering that we have Tolono, a spot where we had reports of a little bit more of the flooding, and then with the same kind of caliber of the orange and the yellow, same for Litchfield. So wouldn't be surprised if those reports were true for down there as well.
Yeah, so you guys, I mean, if Jacob's got that photo, have him send it over to you, and you guys can
see if I can find it on his Facebook first here. Maybe looks like he's been a little occupied. So we'll work on that. Like I said, I'm awfully curious about that Litchfield thing. If they've got 4+ inches down there, that's
a lot of rain.
Yeah,
it's a lot of rain for sure. So
yeah, Jacob just said Litchfield Hospital in my ear, so that is where that flooding was at. So yeah, definitely a concern down that direction as well. On top of the stuff here locally.
Okay, very good. Appreciate the update there. And again, it's kind of interesting if you look at that radar loop. It's almost like if you look at that radar loop that's right there in, look how strong those storms were coming into Sangamon County and Christian County. I'll point it out for you. So right here, these storms were coming in, and then it's almost like they kind of got like pinched off and kind of fell apart. So they were really strong. Boom, and it kind of fell apart through here. So interesting. And then, boy, it's still storming really good here into southern portions of Vermilion County. Maybe even a little bit of an uptick in the intensity there. Seeing some more purple colors now showing up. Might have some hail over there. So Oakwood over to Danville. And again, you just get into these little pockets right there, here. Sometimes it's telling me there might be some hail in there. When you ever see that kind of purple color, man, it is still storming really good there in southern portions of Champaign County. Looking at maybe some stronger winds right there near Jamaica to Seidel. And you can see that when I switch over to the velocity. You're going to see some kind of pink color here. So that's right there. That's what I was just mentioning. So when you look at that and you query it on the radar and you say, how fast are the winds? 49, 50 miles an hour. So some stronger winds there. So you may have some stronger winds. Then on top of that, you may very well have some hail where that purple color is showing up. So severe thunderstorm warning for Champaign and Vermilion County continues until 3:45 p.m. That's what we've got here right now. Still raining here in the eastern portion of Champaign County. Still raining in Urbana. Still raining on the east side, Myra. Raining at the airport. Be curious to see what the airport numbers are for rain. Letting up a little bit near Pasodum. Still a little bit of rain there between Bement and Ivesdale. Light stuff there in Decatur. And still watching these storms coming out of Morgan County, Montgomery, Macoupin County. And heading off here to the east. And again, like I said, just a little bit of an uptick in the radar's signature for some hail there. So if you're over around Jamaica, Fairmount, and eventually maybe Georgetown, Westville, you're going to watch that little back edge of that storm kind of roll through and see if you get some hail over that way.
Kevin, you mentioned that you've seen some uptick in there. From the National Weather Service, they said that for Champaign and Vermilion, they are going to allow that severe thunderstorm warning to expire. So that's interesting that you mentioned that, and they say that at the same time. So.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see, in terms of the wind, getting too much stronger. It seems like maybe the hail. The thing is, we've not had really any hail reports. We've only had a handful, maybe some quarter-size hail. So I think we may be just below the severe limits. We may have some pennies in there. Right. Maybe some dime-size hail. And so they're probably going to allow that to expire because largely we've not seen any reports of, severe criteria, which is 1 inch size. So going to allow that to expire. And it looks like they're expiring also the Morgan County warning. So this may be the first time in about 3 hours where we may not have any warnings in effect here.
Got about 2 inches since 1:15 at Willard. Just follow up on that there with the airport ratings. 2.03 inches since 1:15.
Okay, 2.03 inches since 1:15, and still raining down there. I'm still hearing some thunder outside of the studio here as well. So a lot of you tuned in here watching with us. Thanks for sticking around. We've got our newscast coming up here in about 17 minutes. We'll be broadcasting here. Jacob's still out in the StormTracker. Seth's going to be on here. Adam's still in the studio here with us. And so we will be delivering you the latest that we can. See if we hear any other additional storm reports and whatnot. Jacob's been following the flooding. We do have a reporter on the way up towards the Rossville-Henning area where they had received some damage up that way. Yeah, go ahead.
Kevin, about 0.9 inches there, and Muhammad's almost an inch of rainfall there.
Almost an inch of rain there in Muhammad. I would believe that. Okay, guys, let me just, I think here, and we'll see what happens here in about the next 90 seconds. Oh, hold on here. This mic on? Okay. Yeah, lots of flood warnings, flash flood warnings continue, severe thunderstorm warnings as well. But I think in about a minute or so, we should see some of these clear off of the map. I'll put this on. We've got all the green area there is flash flood. So anywhere along that entire stretch, I mean, you're talking about, if we just go from one end to the other, there's 165 miles of flash flood warnings across the state right now. That is a ton of water and flash flooding that has occurred. So 165 miles as the crow flies across the state where flash flood warnings are in effect. But we're being told that the severe thunderstorm warnings here for Morgan and for Champaign and Vermilion are going to be allowed to expire here. And that occurs in about 15 seconds or so. And we'll see if that occurs. And there we go. So those warnings there did just drop off, as you can see. You're talking about just now the flash flood warnings. So that's what we've got here as of right now. Are we okay back there? Okay, all right. Flash flood warnings continuing here, stretching from Danville to Champaign, over to Decatur and Springfield. Okay, so that is going to be the area that we are watching. So we don't have any more warnings as of right now. What I think we're going to do is just kind of reset things here for you. Let me see here. There's Jacob's shot there, as he is going to be reporting live for us here at 4 o'clock. You can punch up camera 1 there for me here on one of those. You lost that.
There you go.
So what we'll do is we will take a little break here since the warnings have expired. I'm going to prepare for the 4 o'clock newscast that's coming up. There may be additional warnings that get issued here. So if that occurs, of course, we'll jump back on. But this kind of gives a little bit of a reset to everybody for the social media stuff right now. Tune in to the newscast here at 4 o'clock in about 13 minutes or so. Again, there are no severe thunderstorm warnings in effect at this time for our immediate viewing area, but there are more storms out to the west that we are going to be watching. I'll pull those up here for you. We're going to watch this little area out here and see how it develops. So stick with us here. We've got the newscast coming up here in about 13 minutes or so. We'll jump back on if any other warnings get issued. So hope everybody stays safe out there. Thanks for tuning into our coverage. For Jacob and the StormTracker, Adam and Seth here in the studio, I'm Chief Meteorologist Kevin Lighty. Thanks for joining us. And we'll be back if conditions warrant and have more coverage for you. So stick around and we will keep you guys up to date.